Hi!
It's like we never left.
Wow.
What technical
Hi, everybody.
difficulties?
Hello. What are you all doing here?
Oh, wait, but we get to have music again. Here
Music.
we go.
Happy's here.
Reason number 247 why this community is the best. Just jumping right into that. Full commitment.
Ash, is that like thick music? Is that what's happening there?
Yeah.
That's what
Music.
But here we are, session 0.
Woo!
I, for one, am really jazzed, as per my tweet, as per what you guys have all heard.
As per
me.
your way of life.
Correct,
also.
yes. I get really jazzed about a lot of things. Yes, thank you. I know who Gilad Good is. It's Emperor Palpatine. Emperor Palpatine is in the chat.
Do it.
Yeah, it's in the video, but we'll fix it.
Yeah.
It's not an issue. It's Arthur Muse is here. Happy Kilmore is here.
I know. It's awesome. So wonderful.
Jillian Good, yay, first time viewing live. Did you view us any other time?
Yes, were you...
Also, did I pronounce
On
that right?
videos.
Gilad Good? Gilad Good? Gilad Good?
He laughed. Yeah, fans of Changeling or Exaltwitch, perhaps, or something else. Or
Good Society.
something else. Oh, yeah, of course. Good Society, the video that's
Paranoia.
breaking the internet.
Because of spoilers.
Oh! My mom's like, I want to watch it, but it's 3 hours. I'm like, how dare you?
How dare you?
I mean, Gilgalad.
You've seen
Watch the
plays
movie.
that I was in.
Yeah, exactly.
Gilgalad.
Oh, Gilgalad. Yes.
I also
Sash.
realized that we could have been using the same music that we normally do for these sorts of things, but oops.
That's to get us-
But people might actually be curious as to what the hell we're doing here. So we have a little some information as to what the heck's going on here. So without any particular further ado, music level's a bit high. That's fine. We can fix that too. No, that shit, I made that in After Effects.
Done did it.
I mean, what we'll do, we should probably make it so that the wipe goes up
Yeah.
after the crawl kind of
Yeah.
thing. You know, like all of these things. Look,
Look.
it's 0. It's session 0.
Yeah!
That got slapped in at the last minute.
It got so
Gotta
slapped in
make
the last
everything
minute.
extra. That's us going into hyperspace,
Yep.
obviously.
I do love a good wipe, though. Let's be real. It's the best thing. Oh, that's where my shirt went. I see now.
Scott does like a good wipe. You heard it
Okay,
here
all
first.
right.
Well, you said it.
Lord.
I did not say it.
God damn it.
So, I mean, I guess we kind of have to make it clear what the hell we're doing today. This is a session 0. And session 0 specifically for our purposes is to establish what the hell we're going to be doing. We're going to go over things like the general rules of the table. We're going to go over our characters. We're going to go over safety. We're going to basically build a foundation upon which the entire campaign is going to rest. So that's what we're doing today. And part of what we're doing is also involving you. If you have any questions about what we're doing, if you have any comments or suggestions, now's the time to throw them at us in today's. Well, I mean, I guess you can always do that. Like, you can also go on Discord.
Yep. The Discord
You know,
is a
you
great
can
place.
do that, whatever. But today it's here. Today that's what we are doing today. So I guess the first things first is it's this sucker. This is our core rulebook, Edge of the Empire. Look, I can pass it through the magic of technology to another player.
Whoa.
Oh.
Yeah, dearly bought. No kidding.
Yeah.
That's
The
an RPG
No
Clinic
way.
exclusive hot
the
take.
MSRP on this book is not what we paid. Catch up on previous episodes of Changeling.
Oh.
Run.
Blue,
run.
That's nope.
Did you kill someone for your 2 copies?
So Creative Command, it's
Seriously.
not so much that they're that rare, it's that you can't find this in Canada. We had to order this directly from Fantasy Flight, or specifically Asmodee, and the customs and brokerage fees that we had to pay, because they ship via UPS, who charge you an additional $40 on top of everything, just because they're the ones who pay the duty. They're like, pay us what you owe for duty, also pay us an extra $40, which is like such a ripoff. Meant that this book ended up being more expensive because we are living north of the United States. So that's
At least it wasn't duty on a gaming chair. Never order a gaming chair online from outside your country. Don't do it.
oh yeah,
You'll
that must have
regret it.
sucked.
I
Sure.
can't
Yes.
even imagine.
Yes, it did. Yes, it
I
did.
really like to think they wheeled it up to you and they were like, "You want to sit down?"
No, you want to assemble this in 3 hours yourself?
Where was I?
You were not there. I tell you, all the weird things happen when you're not around.
Yeah.
Actually.
Oh my lord.
I mean, the worst part is also I had no idea that they were shipping UPS. So
Oh,
at
right,
one
of
point I
course.
was like, okay, so yeah, I'll pay this duty. What do you mean an extra $40?
What do you mean?
Yeah, we
That's
didn't
40
realize that
American.
would happen until it did.
How much
and
did it
was
come out
already
to?
the board.
In Canadian dollars, it basically came out to like $160.
Thanks, Mongani.
Something ridiculous. But you know what? It's thanks to your subscriptions and your donations, your bits, all of that. That's how we were able to afford it. Just buy a laser printer. So there are no official PDFs of any Star Wars books by Fantasy Flight because they didn't get the rights for electronic distribution.
Oops.
Thank you for the follow. It's very kind. But yeah, so they don't exist. And if there are any PDFs that exist, we sure don't know about them.
That's right.
We have no information on this subject.
PD. What?
Portable. It's a portable.
Portable digital friend.
But yeah,
Oh.
so we're playing this. And as a result of our playing this, we do have the book. We had the chance to buy it. We had the chance to look through it, which means that we have our characters. But the first thing that we're going to discuss, first thing that is most important in any game, is we're going to actually discuss our safety. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to discuss our cards. So we have a system that we've been using for the past while in our previous campaign. We will continue to use it here. We have 3 colored cards. Oh, mine are out of order. We have 3 colored cards that we use, green, yellow, and red, and they each have different meanings. The green card means I'm totally fine with what's going on. I'm okay with this. Even if I don't look like I'm okay with this, this is to show that everything is great. I enthusiastically consent, or perhaps I even wish to go further. Yellow means hold up. There's something that everybody at the tables that we've got to know, so we got to pause and everyone's got to pay attention to me while I say it. It could be that I am approaching my limit. It could be that I just have to give you a warning about something, but the yellow card is sort of a way to make sure that things are known without stopping the game entirely. The red card means that we have to stop, have to stop immediately. And we got to take a pause and we have to go over what just happened. Maybe we have to retcon something. Maybe we have to change the subject. Maybe we have to just go over something among ourselves. But it does mean that the game does not continue until the person who flashed the red card says it's okay. And at any time, a use of a card is never something that requires justification. Thing is, you're on an audience. You're part of the audience. And as part of the audience, you don't have cards, but you do actually have options. You can whisper RPGClinic, and that means that I'll be able to see it. You can whisper Erwin or the Crosshair, our wonderful mods. If you want to speak to them, perhaps if you desire more anonymity, you can totally do that. And you can also leave the stream or chat if you need to. We don't want you to do that, but we do want you to take care of yourself. Your mental health is way more important than watching silly people play a silly game. Silly?
Silly.
How
we had
dare
a
you?
question in chat about how often the cards come up, and it's only been a few times, but as I've said before, it's like knowing where a fire extinguisher is and how to use it. Hopefully you never or extremely rarely have to use one, but, you know.
No, the emergency exits on
Yeah.
a
There you
train.
go.
Yeah, or on like the plane, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get a lot of
Oh,
green
yeah.
cards.
Yeah, lots of green cards.
Clearly you don't trouble.
One thing that we do, however, need to point out is that if somebody flashes a card, that doesn't mean that there has been a mistake or an error. You never know. You could be happily playing one day, somebody mentioned something that you just forgot was going to be an issue for you, and then you have to throw up a card. Or something that you were okay with last session, maybe this session you're not okay with, right? Like the whole consent thing, and like, I made you some tea, but you don't have to drink it, all of that stuff. All of that applies to the cards as well. So if somebody flashes a yellow or red card, it's not indicative of there being a problem. This is a solution that we are throwing up there, and that nobody else is to feel badly about a card getting thrown.
Thanks for the link there, SoCal Dad.
SoCal Dad throwing down a link
Much
about LARPs.
appreciated.
What's LARPs?
What's LARPs?
What's
Tell us
LARPs? We
more.
don't have a slide for that.
Oh, you're looking at me.
I'm looking at you.
This is a web series that we participated in, and it has 2 seasons up on the Fantasy Network right now. We are working towards a crowdfund for a bigger and better season 3. To do that, we need everybody's help. So if you plan on contributing to the crowdfunding campaign, please add your name to the pre-fund list on that link that was just put up there. Thank you very much. Hope you like the show.
So the next thing that we have to discuss in terms of safety, because this is a session 0, is we've got to discuss our lines and our veils. So lines are things that we exclude from the game, no questions asked. No matter what, they just do not come up in games. And veils are things that we allow in games, but we don't really go into them explicitly. Think of it as kind of like, we know that they exist, but we don't have to necessarily describe them in detail. The camera cuts away. Wafting curtains.
Nice.
So I'm going to start. I have a line, sexual assault.
I second that line.
It's a good
Yep.
line to have. Yep.
So that's just not going to be a thing in our game
Yep.
at all. The other, are there other lines that we need to throw up there?
The harming of animals, I think, is more a line than a veil, but it kind of teeters between the two for me.
I think what you mean is the specific targeting of an animal, right?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
So, like, if an animal happened to be in a battle and we don't necessarily see that the
Yeah,
animal never
that's-
makes it out,
that's
then that's
fine.
okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, I would say that we'll call that a line. I mean, like, what you're describing is a little bit of a veil, but I think we can call it a line because that's just something we do not want to even talk or reference.
Yeah. Thank you.
So then that's a line. So, harming of animals. Anything else?
Gore was mentioned. Detail of damage. I mean, I know in Star Wars there's like Luke's arm gets chopped off with a lightsaber, but they don't like zoom in on the wound. So it's
So then that's a veil.
Yeah, people can get injured. But detail of gore.
Well, we're not going to specifically go into like the gruesome details.
Right.
Somebody can have their hand lopped off, but we don't need to go into too many details about what that means. Other than eventually you're just going to have to go visit that medical droid, get that hand
Please fix.
slapped back on.
Float
Yeah.
up in the back to there. I have Veil as well, which would be like overly descriptive descriptions of claustrophobic situations or, enclosed spaces, drowning, etc.
So like
I mean,
the trash compactor
you're a
scene.
pilot on a ship. That's an enclosed space.
No, I'm yeah.
Little tiny spots.
Yes, I would say
Itty-bitty living space.
extreme. I would say overly involved descriptions of people getting trapped in enclosed spaces. How's that?
So like a prison cell's okay, but maybe not like locked in a closet.
Right. Nice. Yeah.
Okay, and that's a veil or a line for
a
you?
veil.
Sure.
Say veil. Yeah.
So we've covered sexual assault, a line,
Yeah.
the
Harmed
harming
animals.
of animals or non-sentient creatures. You can shoot like a human.
Yeah. Is that sentient though? I don't know if that's non-sentient.
Like
Because
Thing-
technically humans are animals too.
Yeah.
right?
beings that are not active in the fight. Like if we were somehow in a fight with an attack dog, the attack dog
Yeah.
is like
I would just
it-
rather not have an
yeah,
attack,
attack
dog
dogs,
in the
yeah.
fight.
Yeah,
'cause
that's
they
fair.
just stress
Yeah.
me
that's
out.
totally
So,
fair.
Pretty
like-
much.
That's fair. Yeah,
How
I
about,
think
how about like
think-
non-civilized? Well, civilized is even a worse word.
Yeah,
right?
I think we know.
Yeah.
I'm happy to it's not so upsetting to me
Yeah.
that it's like a game breaker, so I'll clarify if
Yeah.
things get.
Right.
That's
Sapient.
why we have the cards, too.
A humanoid.
Mr.
That's
Chess, was this
hardly
done for
humanoid.
changing off screen or is this a new step? We did it off screen,
Yeah.
but now we're doing it on screen
Mhm.
because
Episode 0.
yeah.
The Emerald, perfect example. The Tauntaun scene, actually quite upsetting to me.
Oh,
There you go. Find it very sad.
that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah,
Totally.
I don't like it. I don't want to
Totally.
play that.
There we
Not
go.
that
Or will you have
No, the little land speeders, ice speeders.
But if it's
Oh,
me, it's
my-
fine.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Cut
fine.
me open.
Of course.
Crawl inside me for one. That's
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I mean, Happy Gilmore, like the human species isn't capable of calculus in a lot.
Hey.
Oh, let me throw anyway.
That's fine.
This is what happens when engineers show up in your chat,
Right.
right? Like everybody knows calculus, right?
Oh.
I've got body horror.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
Any detailed descriptions, I'd prefer that be done like off camera. Yeah. Or loss of autonomy. There's like these aren't the droids you're looking for, which is fine, but like you are going to come here and like sew things for me, and you are now mentally controlled. Is
So like possession.
possession? Yeah.
Well, possession isn't really a thing.
Yeah.
So that's, but like, it
Yeah,
won't be a thing.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, we will. The Force can still like move people around. You can still make suggestions for
Yeah.
weak-minded individuals,
Yeah.
but like we're not, straight up diving into your mind and
Kilgrave,
breaking it from within.
basically.
So, yeah,
No
no,
Kilgrave.
yeah.
Yeah, that definitely falls under the sexual assault umbrella.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Like, it's not always sexual, I guess, when those things are done. So to me, it's regardless of whether there's sexual intent.
Right.
So I guess I wanted to
Hey,
open that up.
never harms.
Yeah.
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 So torture being brought up as a personal hardline. Torture is kind of a wide range because you could kind of be like, okay, well, if you're not cooperating, I shoot you in the leg. Is that torture? Right? Like, so personally for me, torture is a veil. But we're talking about like, interrogation techniques and stuff like that. You remember the droid that was approaching Princess Leia and had like a needle and kind of thing? You never actually saw anything that happened there. That's a veil. So I would call that quite a significant veil, as in like, we're not like, if someone's going to be like, we have ways of making you talk, and then we'd cut there, as opposed to, we have ways of making you talk, I'll describe what we're going to do.
Very
like, we're
great.
just not even going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Han's strapped in the pain gurney. That's
Don't forget the pain.
that's true, but like we don't really need to see those things specifically, so we're gonna skip those.
Okay.
Any other lines or veils that we need to worry about?
I just want to say I think it's great that the chat is contributing, because what we're trying to do here is foster an environment of open communication, which hopefully everybody, if you aren't already, are inspired to take to your own games. So bravo.
So Creative Chameleon, yeah, we're not doing that. I do know what you mean, and no.
But I mean, I feel like that also starts to move into things like gore and other things. So yeah.
Yeah.
Don't.
Like, that is the sound of ultimate suffering, is, you know, I mean, that's also just like somebody going, ah, like attached to a
Wilhelm
machine
scream.
with like suction cups, right? Like, we don't actually know what's happening there.
In the book,
But,
they go into tremendous detail.
I know, it's horrible.
You need to whisper RPG Clinic for me to be able to see it.
I'm logged into RPG Clinic.
Oops.
Oopsie daisy.
That's my
Let me
bad.
I'll
Feel
just,
free to sign in as yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might need you to help me sign in. Oh, no, wait, that's me.
Yeah,
Never mind.
That's you.
Kate, you don't control all my social media? Hold on.
Ugh. You control way too much social media. That would be like
I just wanted to
20
give one
extra
away.
accounts.
Terminal illness, Mistrich. The in-depth hospital scenes is... Yep. I mean, that's fine. That's also... This is a game about, you know, adventure in the rough kind of...
The rough and tumble
world of the Outer Rim,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to, like, you know, ER medical
Yeah.
dramas.
Our tone is going to be
Although-
pretty Star Warsian.
Don't forget, as John mentioned before, of course, if anything, you know, ever comes up during the campaign, during the season, my apologies, you have options, right? You can, as previously mentioned, you can whisper RPG Clinic, message a mod, leave the chat if you need to, etc.
Thing is, we absolutely want to know.
Yeah.
You're
of
under
course.
no obligation to tell us, but we absolutely want to know, because if it's the sort of thing that all four of us are like, yeah, whatever, we can leave it, then we will. We can't necessarily make every change for every audience member. I mean, that there are just a lot of us, and we can't follow for everybody. But we do want to know and see what we can do. What the hell is that?
It was the Twitch
Twitch
homepage.
homepage, which is the worst because it autoplays.
I really wish
Oh.
it didn't.
Yeah.
So it looks like we've got our lines and veils covered, which means that we can kind of get into the meat of all this. The first thing that we're going to say, that I'm going to point out, is that we do actually have two incredible moderators. So we have Aragorn and the Crosshair, who are here. They're here to help you as well as to help us. I mean, they can do whatever they like. They're not... I'm not their father, but they... but they can help you out. If you have any questions, you can contact them. If I am not answering, or if they're not answering, they actually all have access to the chat, which is great. Aragorn actually helped out quite a bit with some of the graphics that you're seeing, which is fantastic. An enormous amount of work went into this. Kate actually has been programming for a while now to make sure that we have access to... Kate's going to push a button.
Yeah, I just don't know what button to push. Ooh, I know. One that is very broad about the subject matter that we will be getting into. Boom!
Oh my god, oh, I don't have it open.
Damn it.
No, it's too late, Liz.
We'll talk more in detail about our dice, but yeah. I made some things.
Yay.
I made lots of things.
Thank you.
They do the zoops and the zoops and the whoosh. But Aragorn made the arts that everything is on top of.
So what we have is we have the ability to show you information, and we've been programming in lots of different elements of these boxes. As we go through the campaign, we'll be adding story stuff as well, information about characters, information about story, but also we're going to be able to give you information about how the game works while we're playing it, which is super neat. Aragorn's actions may not be working.
She has to say action show or show actions, depending on whether she wants it to go into chat.
Actions, and then Loom of Fate said characters get one
Action
action.
space show will do something else.
Oh, that's much more interesting.
Or that will just show it.
Oh, I'm so okay.
So
I was
yes.
like, oh, it did the thing. I
Yep,
understand.
it did the thing. So we actually have the ability to have other people throwing it out there. I mean, coding is great, but also gaming is great. So using coding for gaming, wonderful. So the Edge of the Empire campaign, or the Edge of the Empire system, is Fantasy Flight's system. Genesis is based on their Star Wars game, essentially. It uses custom dice, and these custom dice are added together as a pool. You have your positive dice, which reflects what's on your character sheet and any advantages you have. You have your negative dice, which is basically it's the difficulty. It's also any sort of situations that are against you, and you roll them together, and then you find out what happened. So, sick of gameplay programming, it's so unrewarding. I wonder what that feels like.
Yeah.
But why don't we talk a little bit about what we expect at the table? So, Star Wars is a universe that already exists, right? There's several movies, some of which are good.
We're getting a hot take soon, I think. No, I'm just kidding.
Here's a hot take for you. All the Star Wars movies have value.
Okay.
But one of the things that I'll point out is that there's the Star Wars Legends, which is the expanded universe, which included all the novels and all the stuff that people came up with. And then at one point, when Disney took control of Lucasfilm, they essentially said nothing that isn't in either the movies or the television shows is just gone,
All gone.
and no longer exists. So one thing that I'm going to say is the expanded universe are just that. They're legends. They do not exist in our universe. Now, this game is set between the events of the Battle of Yavin and the Battle of Hoth. So there has been a blow dealt to the Empire, but they are in the middle of, shall we say, striking back.
Oh, very good.
Those unfamiliar with which battles those are, the Battle of Yavin was the destruction of the Death Star.
First Death Star.
First
Yeah,
Death
yes.
Star, yes. So end of Episode 4, which was the first Star Wars movie that came out in real-world timelines.
Right.
Yeah.
So what are your expectations in terms of Star Wars and canon and all of that?
Pew pew.
Yeah, I would. My expectations are that it's an adventure game, and that the tone is, maybe not swashbuckly, but there's, it's high adventure with some comedy and some thrills and some chills and some spills. That'd be my expectation for tone. In terms of canon, I mean, I like what's out there in the world. I'm happy to play within universe, I guess.
I've seen the movies, I've not seen all of the shows. Will certainly make mistakes, and I'm okay with this.
So the way that I anticipate this is that we are playing a game that is set in a universe, and this universe has so much out there, so much available, that it is impossible for all of us to keep track of all of it. So like you said, we might make mistakes, and mistakes are fine. It's up to us to determine which mistakes we're going to keep and which mistakes we might be like, oh, right, and then just retcon them. So in terms of the audience, while you're welcome to point out any inconsistencies, you must understand that some inconsistencies will be intentional, and some inconsistencies we won't care about. And it's not that we don't care about you. It's that in the interest of making the best game for us, we may or may not pay close attention to certain things that exist in the Star Wars universe. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Big mistake, boat.
Hey, who?
You're casually arriving. Well,
Hello, Pook
Hardly
Magoop.
a casual. Oh, yeah, that's the new one, eh? I saw that on Twitter.
That's been my nickname for Pook. Pook Magoop.
My bad.
I mean, there's Pook, there's Pooks.
Mm-hmm.
Pooks.
Pookses. Yeah.
with a Z.
Oh yeah. Yes.
You also mentioned tone. So yeah, I'm looking at this as some of this is going to be like exciting pulp action. There's going to be some comedy dropped in there. I am totally okay for you to take actions which seem risky or perhaps a little bit over the top, right? Like Luke Skywalker fires a grappling gun and then swings across, and while like 5 stormtroopers are shooting at him and Leia, and like that's totally fine with me, right? Like maybe I'm going to jump off the edge of this cliff that's 700 meters high is less okay, but like you can remember in Force Awakens there was like climbing down that massive wall kind of thing. So like yeah, all of this stuff is I want you to feel free to go for it. Cool. With that in mind, is there any other character stuff that we need to, or sorry, universe stuff that we need to go over?
I don't think so.
I mean, the setting of the game of Edge of the Empire specifically is like usually Outer Rim territories, right? Sort of like on the frontier of the Empire.
So yeah,
Edge of
the Empire is designed to be people who are not necessarily directly involved with, but maybe affected by the Empire and the rebellion's, spat. Tiff.
Oh, okay. A tiff.
Just a wee disagreement.
A brouhaha.
Oh, that's a very charming word for a conflict.
Who shot first? Hans shot first.
Don't watch those other versions.
I mean, but the other thing is, I don't actually I don't get mad if Greedo shoots first. Me personally, Han shoots first because that's the first movie I saw, and that's what I believe, and I think that it fits his character. But I mean, it doesn't really change too much if Greedo.
Yeah, they're both
first,
about
right?
to shoot each other, right?
Like,
yeah,
the key
Han
is that it's
just
a standoff.
anticipates.
I mean,
and
it
he's
also
ready
shows
for it.
Greedo is just a miserable fucking shot.
Yeah.
He's literally just like it's
Dude,
like
he's right there.
you and I are further apart.
Yeah, they're across the table.
And he's just like, duh!
That was a warning. Oh, I'm dead.
Gwen shot first.
Nice.
I accept.
I also accept. Yeah, that's. I mean, I love the idea of exploring new and exciting places and meeting like cool, funky, strange, quirky people, and like I imagine that's all within the world of this game. So we're gonna be.
So everyone's got like a sick bass track.
Nice. Yeah, slap at the bass. I don't.
No, I see what you did there.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah,
I
it just
get your
wasn't-
reference. I just.
It wasn't going so good.
How about you talk about your characters?
Oh
Hey! Oh, but how do we begin?
So why don't we go down the line? We'll start with Kate.
Hi. As you can see down below me,
Oh my god.
my character's name is Fina Mersu. To her friends, it's Fina. And she is a Twi'lek, which are the Star Wars species that have the 2 head tails.
The Leku.
The Leku is what they're referred to as, yes. She has lavender skin. Could you move my thing so that it's just dangling on this side of the board? How's that, folks?
Let us know.
Check 1, 2.
Hey.
Better.
Yep, it's line of sight. What the heck? Okay. Twi'lek, thank you. Creative
That-
Chameleon dropped in. I hope not the Slutiest Slute pick. Okay,
No, it's
that's
actually pretty
that's
good. I gotta say.
excellent. I mean, if my character.
Critic Chameleon just dropping straight up porn right in the chat.
Look, Twi'lek are often, you've probably seen them dancing for Jabba the Hutt. Yeah, lavender skin Twi'lek, just not quite as much of a badass shooty as was dropped in chat. She is, her career is colonist, and her specialization is politico, because she is focused on the politics of things. She'll typically be wearing quite large, heavy robes, regardless of climate. Yeah, start with that. We can go into more character
Sure.
detail later.
You can keep going for a second because I just have to quickly check something.
Would you like me to mute you,
Nope.
John?
You can keep me. I mean, eventually I'll cut out, I'm sure.
It's just John making some sort of awesome sales deal on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah?
A young
Hey!
adult in age. I have no idea what the age range is for Twi'lek, so young adult, meh.
Yeah, it was like 200? I don't know. I doubt it. I feel like humanoid
love of
species
an
in
elf
Star
lasts
Wars.
forever.
Huh?
Yeah, I actually looked that up. Like,
Humanoid races, I think,
life
are pretty much the
expectancy
same.
of Gron.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I have to check that.
Similar to humans, turns out. Surprise.
Bye.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
okay.
I was checking to make sure that I took a drug, and
Ah,
I think I did.
Uh-oh.
that's good.
According to the count over there, I did.
Okay.
But,
Not 16.
Damn it, Pokejutsu!
but I don't remember taking
Yes.
it.
Yes. He's practically dead. Perhaps you could
Probably
take
better
a
to
second.
not overdose.
No, because it wouldn't be an overdose, because I'm taking half a
I'll go
dose
next.
anyway.
I
Take a
am
second to be
playing, as displayed down below as well, I'll be playing Rigel Marine, who is a human. His career is a smuggler, but his specialization is pilot, which I think sort of tells you what you need to know about what he does. What's happening over
Human.
there? Human for the unfamiliar. I can't wait to... Sorry.
It's literally a rock.
That's incredible.
Literally a rock.
Ash, thank you so much. You got me. And, what do I want to say about Rigel? Yeah, like, I've got some sort of descriptions of him here. I have yet to decide if he's going to be mustachioed like Indiana Jones' friend Mac in Crystal Skull. I know, I'm sorry for referencing the movie, but that guy is such an inspiration for this character.
No, I have the correct number of pills in that bottle, so I'm going to say
Okay.
that I took it.
Never mind. But he's kind of short and stout-ish, sort of in his mid-30s. Relatively, relatively agile and smart, but his focus is on piloting and all things around taking care of his ship. That's what I'm going to say about Rigel.
Hello. My character's name is Melba Gravlax, and she is a Gron.
Please tell me it's a rock on.
She's a Gron bounty hunter. Specialization is Skip Tracer. She
Post the
has
same picture.
What's
Swift.
Skip Racer?
Skip Tracer are essentially a class of bounty hunter that prefers to take their targets alive. I mean, ideally.
Ideally, right, sure.
So, Gron are really interesting. They have 3 eyes. She's 5'6", early 20s, and she's from the planet of Kinyan, which is the Gron, homeworld, basically. And yeah, did I say everything about that? Okay, yeah. So she has copper skin, black eyes. She wears pretty basic clothing, though it is armored, and they are in rich jewel colors. And she has a short cape she wears.
There's 2 different physiology of Gron. Does she have 5 fingers with suction cups, or does she have 6 fingers?
She has 6 fingers.
Okay. Yeah, there are 2 different Gron for that. There's also Gron.
It's
There's
like all
also
the
Gron who
Klingons
have
that
more
are
of a standard human build, and Gron who are kind of have very rotund lower halves.
Okay.
Do you have any preference among those?
So she's either has a rotund lower-
Either a basic, like a standard human build,
yeah,
or has a quite a large lower half.
large caboose.
Not just caboose, but also legs.
Let's go with the second option.
She got true trunk legs?
She's like a pear shaped,
Okay.
3-eyed cow with 6 fingers. I'm loving this a lot.
With a goat snout,
Yeah.
4 little antenna-like buds on your head.
Yep.
That's grand to me.
Oof. What happens if you like boing them all at the same time? All the little head nubs.
Rygel will have to find out.
Absolutely not.
I mean, you don't just touch a grand's nubs.
Yeah, what do you...
Rude. What?
Yeah.
Next you're gonna try to touch my Lego too?
No?
I mean, I have a question for you with your Leku.
Yeah.
Are you going to spin them around like a helicopter so that you can fly?
No.
Ah!
I thought I'd ask.
Kate.
Hey, I said that.
Yeah, that was Liz. We're just all mislabeled somehow on the overlays.
Pretty Chameleon, just because it's their brain doesn't mean that it can't be a helicopter rotor.
I believe I can fly.
Slosh my brain around. I mean,
Use my
this-
brain to touch the sky.
Ooh.
There's a whole.
Fair enough, Requiem. It's all right.
I mean, they also just have to like disconnect their spine so that their heads can just rotate fast. But,
Yeah, no. That's not.
Yes.
all right, so we've got characters. Now your characters have you've discussed your careers, your specializations. Do we have to talk about like what those specifically are for people who may not know? I mean, we covered
Yeah.
Skip Tracer, but you're a smuggler.
Yeah, you're right. We should probably talk about that. Smuggler as a career is someone who makes their living taking goods from one place to another, but not necessarily all legal goods, or perhaps not legally acquired or legally delivered. Which is important in the Outer Rim, lore-wise, because some worlds don't have the ability to obtain certain materials because of, I don't know, local politicians or the Empire or whatever, so blockades, etc. So smugglers sort of form, maybe not the backbone of the Outer Rim economy, but they're like a big part of it. But I wanted Rygel to be focused mainly on wanting to fly. Like his career isn't so much like, oh, I want to be a sneak thief, or like I'm charismatic or whatever. It's like I'm focused on the actual, mechanics of getting this done.
Getting from point A to point B.
Correct. Yeah.
What about Fina?
So Fina's a Politico specialization. She came from a relatively political family, but she was like the third daughter, and like her father married a dancer instead of another political family. So basically, despite her keen interest, there was no future for her in politics. Despite her making a move at a really critical political time, so she kind of had to leave home. So now she is making trade deals and, slick talking and charming her way across the galaxy, trying to build a name for herself. Ta-da!
Did she want to leave home?
No, I mean, she made the political move to try to, gain position within the family, improve her worth, and that flopped. So then she was happy to leave because she realized there was going to be no future for her there. And that plays into something that we'll probably cover a little later, but it has to do with, what's the term? Not an obligation.
The Force?
Motivation?
Oh.
Motivation. There we go. A motivation of hers, which is to prove that...
So why don't y'all toss out your character sheets here? Just got them in front of you. There you go. We will be able to link you to character sheets once they're in properly. We are actually, for the first time, we're probably going to be using online tools. And as a result, you'll also be able to see the character sheets similar to what Full Party did with using lot casting Atemi.
God.
Oh God, I banned
Liz,
weirdness.
no.
It's okay. Everything's
Not
fine.
again!
Oh, I hope that doesn't fuck with her sub.
No, I don't think so.
Sorry,
No.
weirdness.
I don't think you
The
can
chat
get
moves
your
too
sub
fast.
deleted.
I'm sorry.
So what were we saying?
I mean, I'm just still... Did we end up banning the person we were supposed to ban?
Yes, there were a couple of people trying to sell, awesome
Follows.
magic instant follows and shit. No thanks.
Take cover where get behind a box or something, okay?
So your character sheets have. We're gonna go over what's on your sheets. We're not gonna like list everything here, but we're used to storyteller system games where you have 9 attributes, but instead now you have 6 characteristics. What are those?
We have on the page here brawn, agility, intellect, cunning, willpower, and presence. I kind of grouped them in like physical, mental, social, but
Right.
you know they can be applied in different ways.
And then you have skills. And the skills that you have range from things like astrogation, which is your ability to plot courses in space, to athletics, your ability to engage in sports.
Jump, yeah.
Didn't even manage to react. So there's these 2 things. Now, when we're building a pool, what you have to do is you're going to take the higher of your skill or your characteristic, and skills and characteristics are linked. So it's not that we choose which characteristic goes with which skill. It's if it's astrogation, it's intellect. If it is athletics, it is agility, I believe.
Weirdly enough, brawn.
It's brawn? Okay. So we take those 2. The higher of those is the number of dice you get to roll. And then you replace a number of those dice with proficiency dice equal to the sum of the other. So if you have 3 in brawn and 1 in athletics, then that means that you get to roll 2 normal ability dice and 1 proficiency die, right?
Cool. Yeah.
And if you then get added difficulty, you get to roll difficulty dice alongside those. So are there any skills that any of you are like particularly good at, or any characteristics that you want to highlight as things that you are either exceptionally good at or exceptionally poor at?
Fina's particularly good at charming. She has a couple of ranks in it, and she has good presence, which goes along with it. So yeah, good at charming.
Yeah, I would highlight have a good intellect and agility, and then a couple of ranks in piloting space vehicles, as you might expect.
Meow.
Meow. Yeah, so which kind of, again, that's a pretty good pool in terms of upgraded dice.
I have good agility and presence, and my negotiation is my highest skill. But yeah, other things to point out: heavy ranged weapons, and yeah, planetary piloting, cool stuff like that.
Got some cool.
Got some cool.
Nice.
I mean, cool means a different thing.
Does
along
it
those lines,
though?
but-
Yeah, can we just call it sunglasses from now on?
No.
You're just like, can you roll sunglasses?
I'll throw up the cool tip in a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, we've been hearing an awful lot about there being a pilot.
Yes.
Do you have a ship?
I do have a ship. We can talk about how I obtained said ship, etc. But yes, I am piloting a modified YT 1300 light freighter, which is also the kind of ship the Millennium Falcon is. For those of you who need a visual there, called the Redshift Runner. It's quite heavily modified, and what else do I want to say about it? She's a real beaut. Nope. No Australians here. I like that, Trey Dog.
Trey Dog, his character in the first campaign that we played online, Exaltwitch, had 0 marriages.
Yeah.
So
One.
therefore there needs to be an average.
Oh, it's true, actually.
Yeah, because
Don't
get-
forget the secret babies.
Secret babbies.
You did have a
Yeah.
secret babby, but
One like lover and then another lover.
you had several lovers. You just only had no marriages.
God.
Hooray!
Jork.
But if we averaged the number of
Sure,
marriages,
like-
you get 1.5.
Okay. Right. The average classic.
Yeah, that probably is, honestly. The average number of marriages.
He's a pilot. Pilots, day fuck.
Ex-Confederates. That's good. Yeah, so I mean that's the ship as of now, as John will I'm sure mention. Character sheets are often in flux for some amount of time. I don't know how long you want to give us on that, but
in my games, you can change basically anything on a character sheet in the first 3 sessions. So that if you realize, oh, this isn't what I meant, then it can be changed. If there's a big enough change that it involves a new character, then that's also fine. You just roll up a new character, and that's that. After 3 sessions, that's usually enough to know whether something is what you want or not, and then the character sheets basically lock.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have a cape closet? Well,
it's a good question.
that's
I need a place to
That's
store my
Melba's-
cape too.
Melba's nickname is Cape Closet.
Cape Closet? I like it. Or is it Cape Closet?
Which
Cape
of her
Closet?
eyes is she winking right now?
Ooh,
We don't know.
Oh God!
it's weird, eh? It's a
So
Do
there
you only
wasn't-
wink one of the 3, or like 2?
That's
of the
my
3?
winking eye.
Oh,
So Afarius did ask at one point, did you obtain said ship by going deep into debt with a crime lord? So I guess now is a good time for us to discuss obligation. There is a mechanic
What's that?
in Edge of the Empire, which is obligation. It means that every character has something that ties them to the shit.
Sorry.
It could be a debt. It could be
Hey.
a...
What does that
Yep.
look like?
It could be a debt. It could be a price on your head that bounty hunters are after you. It could be a favor that you owe somebody who is less than savory. But all of you have something that ties you to that. And this actually has a mechanical purpose, which we'll get into. But for now, what is your obligation?
So my obligation that I've chosen for Rigel is favor. I also upgraded my obligation a step for some additional starting credits, but I imagined a situation in which, as a pilot and as a smuggler, he was kind of flying around a hunk of junk, whatever that was, probably some big boxy garbage, and a friend slash acquaintance slash, colleague of his had a lot of heat on him and his very relatively recognizable modified ship, and asked Rigel to can you hold on to this for me while I go and lay low for a while? So Rigel now owes this person a favor, and so I took favor as my obligation.
Do you have any intention of returning the ship?
I don't currently have any intention, but that's why I've labeled it as favor, because I'm hoping we can negotiate.
Hey, I'm good at that.
Oh, thank God. I'm not.
I'll trade you his life for the ship. Sound
That's a
good?
good trade.
Yikes.
I will make a new character.
You just pull up my morals.
What's your obligation?
Obsession.
For men?
Very good.
So, what I'm thinking is that when Melba was on her homeland of Kinyan, she encountered this beautiful, badass bounty hunter who was, I think, tracking a bounty on that planet. And Melba's little world was blown open, and she came to realize that this is the perfect person living the perfect life, and she wanted to live that life as well. So as soon as she could get off her homeworld, she became a bounty hunter.
So is she sorry, I'm curious. Is she
Yeah.
obsessed with the way of life, or this person and her way of
So
life?
this person is such, I think is just so iconic that I think she's always been interested by bounty hunters, but she didn't know that much about them. And then all of a sudden this woman showed up who embodied it. She's like, oh, you're so amazing.
Wow.
Now,
I wanna
it's
be
listed as
you.
an obsession, which
Yes.
means that if this character is around, then Melba has no choice but to try and impress or get in the way of this bounty hunter. So it is still an obligation. It is still something that Melba is going to have to deal with.
I will drop all you punks.
Fina.
Impress her. I'm sorry.
I realize that I still have a question mark next to my obligation, so I will determine it before our first session.
We could talk about it now in a session 0 if you like.
I feel like I'm going to have to sit there and read all of them, and I don't think that's going to be very interesting for everyone.
Really? Let's ask.
Let's
wanna-
ask the chat. Yeah.
Read 20 paragraphs.
Oh. I was
yeah.
curious if you had like an idea, or like a starting kind of.
I have a
concept, or-
vague sense of what the source is. I just don't know what that's going to manifest as. So rather than blathering on,
No,
yeah, I
that's fair.
quickly like switch to the page, and it's just too much to make up on the spot.
Now, the thing about obligation is that at the beginning of each session, I'm going to be rolling a percentile die. Their obligation is given a rating. What is your rating on your obligation, by the way?
15.
20.
25.
That's a lot of obsession.
Well, it's also, I think I need to split it up too, because it's also the fact that, because we were talking about the fact that Melba doesn't want her family to know and her community to know that she's a bounty hunter. So we can either split that up or condense it all together into this.
We'll
like-
probably be condensing it
Cool.
because it all kind of ties into the same thing.
Yeah.
But that means that your group has a total obligation right now of 60. I'm going to be rolling a percentile die. For those of you who don't know, percentile die is basically 1 to 100. It's 2d10, 1 for 10s, 1 for the ones digits. And if that roll is lower than your total obligation, then that obligation is going to come up at some point during the session. It will affect you in some way. And even if it doesn't affect you directly, I mean, for instance, it'd be difficult for a bounty hunter obsession to affect you if you were spending the day on a Star Destroyer where the bounty hunter has no idea that you're there. It still affects you to a certain way. It still causes you strain. It still causes you stress. And gives you issues, which is something that we're going to have to. 25 is a lot. Yeah, it's your obligation can go up or down, and the thing is that as you continue through the game, you will be able to negotiate to reduce your obligation. But it is also possible that your obligation may increase. For instance, if your friend who asks a favor of you and you cannot perform this favor, well, then your obligation is going to go up because now this friend is like, well,
Naomi 2 favors.
now either you owe me 2 favors or, okay, I have now sold my favor to someone else who is perhaps worse to deal with. And then the second time that you refuse the favor, well, now a bounty hunter is coming after you. And then the third time, well, now I told the Empire where you are. You know, like there are ways to make the obligation go up and up and up. I mean, you're grinning at him. I can just see who has the most obligation at the fucking table.
I
right
do.
now? So it's gonna get your ass into trouble.
So excited.
It's me.
We just have
Jorik.
to kill your like beloved.
I will
bounty
kill
hunter.
you
Oh,
before-
Straight up. Okay.
But at
Fact.
regular intervals, you are going to get the chance to pay down your obligation. I should point out, though, that you can never have an obligation of 0. The lowest that you can go is 5.
Okay.
And that's individually. So the lowest that your group can have as a total is 15. I would be very surprised if we ever got to that point.
That is fair.
It seems like this is the kind of thing that will be something that we're going to have to handle anyway.
Fair
Melba
enough.
gets hired to go after
Actually
Rigel. The Emerald.
Maybe that's how they meet.
You understand, right?
And then I try to shoot you first.
Now you not only have an
One of my
obligation, but you
eyes,
also
like-
have a motivation.
Yes.
So what is your motivation?
I can jump in.
Sure.
I have a couple of motivations here, like a primary and a secondary. I think my Rigel's primary motivation is his ambition to be free, and that's free of responsibilities, essentially. Whether that be through wealth or whether that just be through not having any, debts or favors. Oh,
Like owning your own home,
yeah, man, that'd be great.
but like owning your own ship so that you are
Yeah.
free to go wherever you want and
Exactly. It's funny. I get the sense that it's less about, oh, I really want to be able to do this, and more about, oh, I just don't want to have to do that. You know. But there's a minor motivation of relationship with the Red Speed Runner, with the ship, and sort of learning more about it.
red shift runner or red speed runner?
I said redshift runner. I meant redshift runner. Thank you. That's not what I said.
So I was hoping that my motivation could also be tied to my obligation. So if my motivation is mentor, which is this same bounty hunter who like introduced me to the bounty hunter ways, and I'm trying to impress them as my motivation for.
So I mean, I don't have a problem with that on the surface. I'll point out that your motivation and your obligation being the same thing means that you are kind of pointing your character very deliberately in one direction that has nothing to do with the other two.
True.
So what I think we might do is your obligation right now has partly like, hey, I'm obsessed with this bounty hunter, but there's also this, I don't want my family to know what I'm doing. And I have a feeling like maybe the obligation is going to lean a little bit more towards like, if people find out what I'm doing right now, including perhaps even the bounty hunter that you are trying to get as your mentor, right? Like, because if you screw up, if you're like, hey, I'll be your friend, and the bounty hunter's like, no, well then that's
Very
bad
upsetting.
too. But
Bad, yeah.
it is something that we'll make sure that we lock down exactly what the obligation is.
Okay.
It's not that because I think that ties together quite nicely, but it does mean that the two main forces acting on your character are the same.
Yeah.
So it is something that we're just going to have to make sure that it gives you an opportunity to participate in other stories that don't just involve the bounty hunter itself. But I don't think that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, I think I would be able to find a way to do that pretty easily.
I mean, I've no doubt. I've no doubt. But we'll just make sure that that's something that we can keep track of. I mean,
Sounds good.
the same thing kind of applies to Scott, right? And Rigel, because Rigel, you have a favor that you owe because of the ship that you own, and also you have a desire to be free, which is basically a desire to not have an obligation.
I have the obligation.
So we're going to have to make sure that that's something that will work for both of you. Kate, who has been too busy actually getting the mechanics of the stream ready, you don't have a motivation.
No, I
or
have a motivation. It's
Oh.
just obligation that I didn't have.
So what's your
completed.
motivation?
My motivation is ambition status.
Nice.
So
That we can help with.
Yeah. She wants to prove that she can be a great political player, and that she would have been an asset to the family. So she's definitely got a big old chip on her shoulder, and she's got a lot to prove. So she is doing her best to wheel and deal her way through every deal she can. Yeah.
Real Brickwall's asking about your ship.
I'm gonna hop in chat and answer the question. I just had to.
Why'd you close everything?
My computer's low battery.
Oh no!
Why
Do not have
didn't
lower-
you plug in your
I-
computer?
I don't have my. I'm like that. I'm that guy today, and I
Is
always
it
have my
USB-C or is it like a
plug. No,
proprietary?
It's like,
thing?
it's like a
Crosshair-
chunky.
Because you suggested it, yes.
Do you anticipate
we'll say
using
that.
your iPad?
Salmon
No.
colored.
No, but I'm not. Because I have everything on paper.
All right.
See the chat, though.
Of course.
I'm going to steal your character sheet for a second because I didn't end up printing one for myself.
Oh, do you want to take
Yeah,
the one
give
that
me-
I don't need anymore?
Yeah,
Alright.
give me
Brickwall says-
a sheet.
What is it?
Give you a sheet?
You can just
Give
tear
you
it
a
off, it's
sheet.
fine.
No.
Okay, so you also can have gear. Gear.
Yeah.
You can have gear. Do you have any specific pieces of gear that you want to talk about? Other than just like your standard, like, I've got clothes. Like, congratulations.
Got clothes that take a shot for
Sophina, aside from a little blaster and heavy clothing, she carries around chance cubes and a sabak deck, so that she can always strike up a casual conversation over a quick game. And she also carries a little collar amp, which looks like a little lapel pin, but can actually serve to amplify her voice if she needs to speak to a crowd. So
That's
those are
cool.
yeah, it's
Sorry.
from the companion book Far Horizons that I looked at in person.
Happy Kilmore, 50 feet of rope. The unit that I prefer to use is an adventure of rope, and one adventure is equal to 50 feet.
Yes. Yes.
I think in terms of gear, like I'm carrying. I've got myself carrying like a toolkit and like an emergency med pack and like whatever. But I think I'm carrying around like just in terms of personality and stuff. I've got this little blue kerchief. And what I wrote is a lucky cigarette case, but I know that cigarettes aren't a thing, so it's not like it wouldn't be a cigarette case, and it wouldn't be like a death stick case either, because I know those are like pretty intense.
I don't want to sell you death sticks. I want to go home and rethink my life.
I just want to go home and rethink my life. I love that guy. And then as a weapon, though, I've kind of modded out a light blaster pistol, just to give it a bit of flavor.
So Melba wears armored clothing, which is great. Her weapon is a blaster carbine or carbine. Do we have a consensus on that?
Carbine?
I think it's carbine, but
Blaster carbine, which is a heavy blaster. And in terms of stuff she carries around, she's a practical lady. She's got some binders, some stim packs, a disguise kit, and a breathing mask. Probably a few more things. I've got some extra credits because I put my obligation way up there.
Yeah.
Carbine and carbine are both correct.
Oh, great. Rubric Wall would like carbine, so carbine it shall be.
Right, for Rubric Wall here? Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Can you mute me for a second, Liz? I'm just
Yeah. And that's just her handbag. And her carbine also has a stun setting, which I'm very excited about.
Much the same way that Twi'lek and Twi'lek are both acceptable pronunciations of your race. Or species, I should say.
Twi'lek.
I mean, I've always preferred Twi'lek myself,
Yeah.
but... Trey Dog says carbine.
Oh, everyone else said carbine, and then I just saw carbine in really big letters from Real Big Wall. So
I mean,
that was the first.
it also depends on what you want to say.
Well, I like saying carbine. I just think it sounds fun. So
Yep.
I was gonna be biased towards that pronunciation. So.
According to the dictionary, it's carbine or carbine. We can even get into the fucking IPA if we want.
But it's all good. Let's
Yep.
say carbine
Yep.
for the sake of space. And that's great. So that's I've got more
Weirdness.
equipment that I need to buy. I'm probably gonna mod out my weapon a little bit too.
Sweet.
I mean, you can mod your weapons later
Yeah.
on. Did you name any of your gear?
No. That said, I haven't taken on extra obligation or anything to get extra cash, so we'll see. Maybe I will before next session.
Yes.
Oh, so we can be not just 60, we can be straight
Hey,
up
why
like...
not?
infinite?
You know.
Look, if other people are allowed to buy up their obligation, I am.
If you guys started Obligation 70, essentially you're already, fucked.
Are we fucked or are we dramatic?
Do we have lots of plot hooks? We don't have to decide anything ourselves. Ha ha ha. John just died a little. Sorry.
Sorry, John.
I just died in your arms tonight.
That's the name of my weapon. Dramatically fucked. No, we're joking before the stream that I would call my gun my morals. And I think I'm going to stick with that for now.
Yes.
I like it. I think it's fun.
As in, oh no, my morals.
Well, you've had a conversation with Melba. Now I think you're going to need to talk with my morals.
Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, thank you. That's so kind.
Yes, please.
Misplaced my
One
No,
of these
Kate has not
days.
picked an obligation yet. She has an
Yeah.
idea.
I have an idea what the source is. I just don't know how to manifest it. So it will be decided by next session.
So we've got a handle on your characters. You've already created your character sheets, so that's great. And as much as that would be part of a session 0 is the actual creation of characters, that's just a bunch of math that we don't really need to do right on stream. But it is done. And we'll be able to link you to the character sheets once we're sure. The thing is, we're using specific software, and they updated to version 1 today,
Which,
which is like fantastic, and it's bugged to shit.
I know it's coding, but I don't care. I just picture them with like this comically large fly swatter going around and like chasing these
it's like a
huge
whack-a-mole
bugs.
thing, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's like the update is actually, it adds a lot of things that I've been really looking forward to.
I'm really excited.
Except that it's bugged to hell, which is not terrible.
No.
But it is something that we just have to keep in mind. And that's, so we'll link to you when we know that it won't, blow up the world. I'm going to blow up the ocean.
Exactly what I was thinking.
The tooltips are through Updeck, which is free software that anyone can use on their computer, whether it's a Mac or a PC or a Linux. You control it through Android or iPhone. It's super fucking cool, and it lets you do all the buttons and the things. So that's what that is, Pook.
The Crosshair asks, how long have you been doing your jobs? Like, is Fina a newbie politician? Rigel barely out of fly school? Melba been hunting for 5 years?
I think Melba's still a relatively baby bounty hunter.
Oh, baby bounty hunter.
Baby bounty hunter.
Oh, did you bounty hunter? It's like BB-8, but an H. BB-8, the best thing to come out of the sequel trilogy?
I do love BB-8.
I mean, it's
Not the best
basically the
thing,
animal
but one of the good
companion, but
things.
not
Well,
an animal.
BB-8 and Babu Freak. In fact, I would pay big money to see a spin-off with just
A
the two
BB-8
of
Babu
them.
Freak spin-off?
Well, where Babu Freak has to
And
like
Baby
run
Yoda.
along, like running backwards on
Right?
top of BB-8 as he
That's
rolls
so
forward.
amazing.
That sounds awesome.
No, Babu Freak's like a little mechanic, right? So they just like make some sort of thing that would like counterbalance the momentum. So
Oh,
they
yeah, the
just
port was
balance on
great,
top
too.
of BB-8.
Yeah.
Or no, it would be on top of BB-8's head because BB-8's head stays upwards.
That's true.
There we go.
Ooh,
Solved.
good question, Requiem. I'm gonna have to think about that.
Babu going free.
When did she get her morals?
I took my life savings and bought a gun. That's basically your story, right?
I mean, it sounds like it, eh?
What is that?
I took my life savings and I bought a gun.
Pretty much. I feel like she somehow, and I don't know how, when she got her first contract, didn't have any weapons and used her pay to get that gun. Like, she went on a shopping spree and was so proud of
Wow.
herself.
So
I
you
did
are
the
a member
whole
of the guild.
I have to look into how the Skip Tracer organization works, if that's separate or if that's just a subsection. Because Skip Tracers are more hired to collect on debts and stuff.
Yeah, but that
Um,
still is a bounty hunter position.
For sure.
So I believe that you would still
They would
be-
also belong to the guild, then
Yeah.
yes.
And you,
she's
so
a
that
member of
means
the guild.
also you don't have to belong to the guild to be a bounty hunter, but it's a lot easier to get contracts and stuff like that if you're a member of the
I
guild.
feel like she heard that that was the official thing to do
It
and
is
set
the
about
official
making it happen. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I had, for me, I had imagined a past for Rigel growing up on. I had a planet name and it's gone. Anyway, I'll grab it later. Growing up in like a very kind of urban setting where he took to like mechanics as a way to make a living to help his family, and then when the opportunity came to make more money and get the hell out of there, he like jumped at the chance to and never looked back, so to speak.
Where'd you learn to fly?
Well, that's it, right? So I'm gonna say.
You borrow the ship just being like, yeah, I totally know how to fly.
Well, if you're going to repair the ship, you got to make sure it works, right?
But where did you learn to fly?
That's a good question.
That's why I asked it.
No, that's why I still have the same answer, John. I think I just need to grab the name here. Where did I put it down here? I think like on Denon, which is his home planet.
Kid approved.
Hey.
Hey.
Your son's met these people too.
Yeah, there we go. But yeah, I mean, it certainly wouldn't have been like a formal apprenticeship as possible suggestion here. So I think it would be through observation and like learning how to pilot, land speeders or whatever would be driven in like a very urban setting, and then upscaling that to ships at some point. I imagine a lot of trial and error. Oh, hello.
was just looking at something.
But essentially, what I'm asking is, you didn't like learn to fly with the Empire, or any of the sort of alliance or rebellion sort of things. You are taught in a more private way.
Yeah, I think yes. More specifically, John, like I don't see Rigel as having any sort of formal or any military training, which a lot of people would learn to fly through joining the Imperial Navy or like the Rebel Alliance or whatever, right? But I see him more as having learned how the systems work and then like applying them to make ship go fast.
So you're self-taught.
See, that sounds ridiculous, though, because it's like, you can't just hop in a plane and be like, I hope this works. Like, how am I supposed to land this thing?
I mean, this is Star Wars, right? In Star Trek, you have technobabble, and in Star Wars, you have, no, this goes there, that goes there.
I said punch it.
I always love that. Yeah, I said punch it. Yeah.
You can self-teach yourself to fly a plane if you're lucky.
Yeah, I was going to say. I think...
Try rolling.
That's a neat trick.
Anakin didn't figure out anything. Anakin was like, whoa! And like kills hundreds of people.
It was the Force. Those midi-chlorians.
Yeah, they just did it for him.
Oh, wow.
All up in
And
the
the viewer
turbines.
count is going
it's
down.
crashing.
Oh,
It's
no.
crashing.
Don't say the M word.
I guess, John, to answer your question, I haven't kind of crafted like people or NPCs into my backstory, so I'm not sure if I had like a mentor figure that would have taught me to fly, or whether I kind of
Someone taught you.
Yes, correct. Yes,
Is what I'm getting.
that's fair.
Right. So, but specifically, the thing that I need to know right now, and that you've confirmed, is you didn't learn as like a military pilot. You didn't learn as part of being a member of the Empire or the Rebel Alliance.
Right.
You just learned somewhere else.
Yeah.
So that's fine. We'll be able to figure that out.
right.
Not a big deal. How about you?
So Fina grew up in a very political family, and despite the fact that she wasn't in any sort of lineage that would lead her to a political seat of power within that family, she still was super interested in it. So she was like a precocious kid, and was always finding ways to endear herself to people to let her join in on meetings that she otherwise shouldn't have been in. Yeah, and so she's been doing all that from a young age. So despite her being a young adult, she's got lots of experience behind her. And she's probably been off-world for like a year, I would say, off Ryloth. So long enough that like she's not brand new in the world, but still fresh enough that she doesn't know everything.
Captain Daff, there's a lot of things that are impossible in the Star Wars universe. Like a benevolent creator who's willing to just settle.
Just settle.
Oh, but new technology, stop.
We have recently brought up the Force. So I can't help but point out that the three of you...
Sorry.
Scorpio.
She
We like Scorpio here.
reference that you do not get because you haven't watched it yet. Sorry. We will stop. We will stop making references that do not include you. That is not kind.
Is Melba 7 feet tall and made of bicep?
Not at all. She's 5'6". And
Apparently,
Is that with your eye
pear-shaped.
stalks like stretched
Straight
all
up?
the way
Yeah.
up? or-
yeah,
She's actually
relax.
5 feet tall, but her eyes, she like can like point them upwards to get a bit more height.
made of legs. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for the art. Please, someone art, or I will art.
I have already arted.
Oh my god, I can't wait.
I mean, I will eventually watch She-Ra,
Yeah.
as I understand. I just don't have as much free time as I once did.
Damn employment.
Yeah, right.
The Force.
So the Force. So none of you are Force sensitive. I'm going to point out that in the time period that we're in, the Force has kind of been erased from society as a whole, like the knowledge of the Force and the workings of the Force. Now, I admit that there's a little bit of a logic leap if you're like, so Luke is how old? And like, that was when they killed all the Jedi, right?
Yeah.
Was right around the time that he was born. So, and Leia too. I mean, they're twins. They were born on the same day.
That's true.
Fucking twins. Anyway, so we have...
Yeah, fuck those kids.
Yeah, right. So we have this sort of logic leap that we have to make that, like, all of a sudden the Jedi just weren't around for, like, essentially 16 to 18 years. And then people were just like, what are those?
I've never heard of that. Yeah.
There are going to be spoilers in this for Star Wars leading up to Episode 6, actually specifically leading up to Episode 5, because technically this is taking place before Episode 5. But those movies are very old, and I don't feel badly about spoiling them.
It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
What is this? Ah, yes.
It's Gron.
Ooh, but like with a sick fur coat.
Yeah.
That is our that's our senator.
The one who tried to become Supreme Chancellor?
That's so. What a crazy world.
Okay,
Didn't
so
work
Fina
out
will
for you.
definitely have tried to talk to you about it, whether or not you know anything about that.
I know nothing.
Age of content does not preclude need for spoiler warnings. I mean, to a certain degree, there are certain elements of fiction that are kind of like ubiquitous, and so it's assumed that people know
Except
about it.
it's not Luke.
Well, I mean, it's also like if we were to say we're doing a Lord of the Rings role-playing stream, if somebody showed up expecting that they wouldn't be spoiled in the books or the movies, I mean, I'd say that's, you know, it's there's a sort of expectation. It never hurts to say it, but like,
Yeah,
there's a
but
certain...
consider this your warning, everybody, that if you haven't seen Star Wars, at the very least, Star Wars Episode 4, or basically the first one, you should probably watch it.
It's good.
I mean, it is.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's a good movie. I'd say. Like, it's
And if you remember that it's the special editions. I was going to say, if you remember the time, the filmmaking was so great, but it's all been like magicified with digital stuff, so not so sure anymore.
I mean,
But there's still some great filmmaking in there.
RPGClinic on the left.
Good God,
Africa
Trey
in the
Dog.
middle, NFL Red Zone on the right. Yeah,
Good lord.
I mean, there you go.
Yes,
Wow.
I was trying to use that photo, and for some reason it wouldn't upload. I'm gonna try again. 'Cause this is perfect.
Anyway,
Yeah.
back from the diversions again. None of you are force sensitive.
Nope.
Yeah.
The force is there's going to be the occasional person who may know of the force. There may be even an occasional person who is force sensitive. There may be even the occasional person who is straight up a force user. But in general, all of those things will be quite rare.
Right.
Because you're living on the outer rim, folks, and execute order 69.
Oh.
It's 66, I know.
Yeah. No, it's still good though.
But yeah, that's... Wait, that's Melba? That is Nightmare Fuel, yeah.
How dare you?
How dare
Melba and her morals will be to visit you later. Oh my God.
So that's clear for everybody?
Yeah.
We got that? Okay, so then I have to ask, are there any other questions that you have for me about the campaign? And that includes all of you out there.
I guess we have to figure out how the three of us met.
Yes, that is definitely a question. I also want to know, John. I want to know.
I want to know what love is.
It's true. No, I wanted to know whether if this campaign is perhaps different from Changeling or Exaltwitch.
Yes, because it's Star Wars and not set in the world of darkness or the world of creation.
Right. In the sense that do you expect us to have more concrete or less concrete goals in mind for our character?
Well,
Things-
it's on your
things
sheet.
to
It's called
pursue.
motivation.
Mhm.
We've talked about it. So what's
Great.
the question
No, good.
here?
Yeah. I guess the question is whether because they're living in the outer rim and just like on the edge of trying to survive, whether we need to have sort of very specific goals in mind. Oh, I want to get a job from the huts. I want to fly all the way across the galaxy. I want to, you know what I mean? Like, we need to have like specific stated goals for ourselves. It's not built into the game, so it's not necessary, I guess.
I
but-
want you to have goals for what you want. So there's not only your character arc, but also your player arc. What do you want to see out of the story? And what do you want to see out of your character? Not just the character's motivation, but what you are interested in. And I want to hear about that.
Cool.
Pukajutsu, they actually, in a special edition, they had Haley Joel Osment re-record the line, "That's the power of the Keyblade," to "That's the power of a Keyblade." And they just left it at that. Fucking Keyblades.
That was
Requiem
my
Lost, I'm sorry.
What was
I wasn't phrasing it very well, but what I wanted to know was, like, when we were playing Changeling, I feel like there were arcs and kind of conflicts and plot lines that were presented to us, but there were also things that we wanted to accomplish. Oh, I want to make a freehold. I want to burn people. I don't know. What did you do in the game? What would you say you do around here?
create my
Village.
perfect world?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I want to create my perfect world.
I was
Sure
basically
you
Lord
didn't have that
Farquaad.
Order 66, everyone. And I was wondering
everything's
whether this
fine.
game would be, whether we should expect it to be more reactionary or whether we should expect to be driving goals ourselves.
I mean, you're the
And-
pilot. You have to drive. Sorry.
Ooh, you should call the ship Goals.
Okay.
Hashtag
But
goals.
you also had a really important question, Liz, which I think we
Sorry.
should address, which is how we got to know each
Yeah.
other.
how
Mutiny?
did we
I'm
meet?
losing a contact.
Oh, bye, John.
Oh, no.
It's coming out, folks.
Oh my God! No one needs to
That's
hear
a
that.
line.
That's a line.
Honestly,
Oh,
like
fair. Oh, I don't need to say that.
I probably could get laser eye surgery, but the idea of going through that.
I just don't understand why we need to be conscious. Like, really? Do I
We
have to
haven't
witness
developed
that?
a drug that lets us completely go unconscious, but keep our eyes forward. Apparently. Well,
Aragorn, it's part of her disguise kit. And it's a really good disguise
I
kit.
just assume it's like a big ass cloak, right? So everyone assumes you're one of those Jedi.
It's just twitch. You see, like, weird twitchy things.
No, I think it's 3 top hats
Oh, wow. Individual hats?
and a mustache and contacts.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. You can-
I did.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
You're so good. You're so fast.
It's the Force.
Welcome back. Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
We'll see if that worked. I looked at it and was like, no, that looks fine.
Well, we had talked a little bit before, I think, about the idea that maybe you needed a ride to get to either your first or your second kind of contract early on in your career.
Yeah, well, I was looking for a pilot that I could partner with to give a percentage of my take. But see, I don't know how to fly a ship. So I was hoping to find the right person to partner with. And, you just fit that bill.
Well, they weren't free, but Rigel was there, so, we went with him. Yeah, I don't know if you had sort of thoughts, Kate, in terms of like whether Fina...
Fina's been planet hopping, so
Oh, there you go.
basically taking whatever deal comes her way. She's basically mostly negotiating trade deals. Coming from Ryloth, she is quite fluent in Huttese, so like it or not, she's dealing a lot with the Hutts.
Oh, John,
They-
yes.
They
It's
are
John.
everywhere. So yeah, I figure maybe at some point she could have crossed your paths.
I see a part of our histories where I desperately needed someone who could like help me interpret with the Hutts, and you ended up taking charge of the whole kind of like negotiation process. Or
Oh my
whatever
God,
it
yeah.
was. And just like, from my perspective, just like way too useful to sort of get rid of. So I was like,
Get rid of.
well, leave somewhere, come and join the crew, because like It sounds, I don't know, it doesn't sound like we have a permanent arrangement.
I think we're best friends.
Okay,
You
all
know,
right.
at
This
first it
is-
was
No,
a
here's-
professional relationship, but now we're close. We're tight knit.
So Melba feels
Are you
this
close
way.
enough that he's like, so can I ask about the stocks and you don't get super offended?
I don't get super offended. I'm not embarrassed to
Not
discuss
embarrassed.
these things. No.
That's nice.
It's my stocks.
This is
This will be
mustache.
great when you cosplay this.
I'm so excited.
Hello, Kathy. So I have it. Hello?
Hello.
Damn it.
Hello.
No, that's weird. The line went down.
So has it
Codes
been
don't do
assumed that
that
then
anymore.
the three of you have been traveling together for a little while now?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
I
so.
think so because Fina doesn't have a specific destination. She's literally just taking gigs.
You're
So
making a
if
name for
this is a
yourself, yeah.
regular gig, then fuck it.
That works for me.
So you're friends.
Yeah.
Convenient
there.
allies.
Yeah.
Why?
Or best friends.
Why? Okay, can I just
I'm so
point
ready.
something out here for a second?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Why is it that when I play with this group, when I ask like, oh, so you're friends, it's always like, well, I don't know.
I'm just trying to balance out Melba best friends Gravlax over here.
I'm sorry, y'all. I just have the impulse to play against what's expected in
Oh,
the
I
Star
love that.
Wars game. No one's ever really good friends except for Han and Chewie, and now I want us to be like,
Technically, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker are good friends.
they told us they were good friends.
Yes.
They didn't
Friend.
show it. It was more of a tell not show kind of thing.
You were my brother.
I would characterize us
love
as
you.
friends now. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes, the Clone Wars, of course. Of course, forgive me.
Fina is quick to make friends. Or at least make people think that.
There you go. Understanding the
Yeah,
value.
hey,
of
friend,
friends.
do you wanna
now
play a
it's
game
not
of
even like,
Sabacc?
oh yeah, no, it's just you think.
Well, it's like Jorik. We found out halfway through Exaltwitch that he'd just been pretending to be our friends this whole time because he thought we were useful to. Our like intimacy levels
Oh,
were
yeah.
way different.
Oh, yeah!
It was
I
really
do remember.
upsetting.
I was like, oh, I should probably upgrade these to like major. And you're like, what? They're minor? I
We'd
remember
been
this.
minor
I
for
remember
way
this.
too long.
That was wild. Yeah, yeah.
It was awful.
That's so
very
funny. I was like,
upsetting.
I don't know. Convince me you're useful, I guess. Yeah, that was wild. That was a long time ago. Way. It's been 84 years.
It's been 84 years.
Whoops.
Oh.
Right?
It's my favorite. I love it.
Okay, so you've known each other. You asked a question before my eye started to pop out of its socket. So you asked about whether or not you wanted this campaign to be more directive or whether you wanted it to be more sandbox and open. The answer is that, as with my other campaigns that you've played in, you have a lot of agency over the narrative in terms of where you wish to go and what you wish to do. I'm not going to tell you that you have to do anything. If you wish, you can sign up for the Empire in your second
the
session
Imperial Navy?
and
Sweet.
just straight up do that if you really wanted to. I mean, the Empire may not really care that much about a Gran and a Twi'lek, but you know, like,
Come on, guys. Trust me. This is good for us.
All right, let's give it a go.
It'll be just like our Paranoia game all over again. Clones and everything.
Clones and everything. Okay, cool. Thank you, John. That's a good.
yeah.
That's a good answer. Just wanted to know.
Now, that's not to say that I'm not going to be seeding you with plot hooks, and because you have an obligation mechanic, that's also not to say that shit won't catch up to you. If somebody decides to show up and ask specifically about, so where's my favor, then that's something you're just gonna have to deal with.
Yeah. But we can actively try to pay down our obligation
Yes, you can.
as long as our friends are on board with the idea.
How do we pay down our obligation?
I don't know. How do you
Speed?
stop being so obsessed with that?
So it
It's
depends.
impossible.
It
It's
depends on the
perfect.
obligation, and it's something that we'll discuss. So, if it's specifically like I owe a favor to somebody, paying down the obligation might be performing that favor, or it could be convincing them that I don't have to do the favor, but here's something else that I can offer you instead. Right? Negotiation specifically is a skill that you are good at.
Yeah.
Negotiation is one of the ways in which you will be paying down your obligation. Negotiation as a skill is essentially finding out what's the minimum that I have to give up to get what I want.
Okay.
In this particular case, because, for instance, for Rigel, It's what's the least imposing favor that I can get away with to clear this up. The thing is, even if he clears up his favor, that doesn't necessarily mean his obligation goes away, because then I can be like, okay, well, great, you did me my favor, now give me my ship back. And Rigel can be like, but I don't want to, in which case
You have to take on another favor.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
got to take on another favor, or now you have to do something else. So in that way, it's sort of like a role-playing decision, but assume that if you do not make an effort to pay down your obligation, it will continue to rise, because inevitably I will roll. So when I roll an obligation, it is going to be specific to one of the three of you. Mm-hmm. So let's say that because Kate's on the left side of the screen, Kate would take 0 to 15, which is the amount of obligation that she currently has. Then Scott would be 15 to 30, or sorry, no, you took 20?
Yeah, so 30.
So 15 to 35 would be Scott, and then finally it would be 36 to 60, which would be you.
That's a lot of obligation.
She took a lot of obligation.
It's true, no, it's good.
And so in that case, it would be a specific trigger. So if for some reason you're unlucky and I roll your obligation, Liz, 3 times in a row, and nothing happens for you to pay it down, then I might start being like, it's going up a bit. But like, there's also things like, if you do a job and you earn money off a bounty and you throw money at your problem, like you could say, I'm going to pay somebody to go to my home planet and lie about what I've been doing. That you can do. Sweet. That would be potentially a way to reduce your obligation. What?
Loom of Fate has a timer that's telling people to go to this channel. If you could kill that timer.
We've moved over to a dedicated Twitch channel. This one. Thanks, Loom.
Loom.
Cerebral Qual is correct. It isn't necessary. Obligation also isn't necessarily the thing that will overwhelm a campaign. It's just it's pressure to apply to you occasionally, and something that you're going to have to handle or deal with. Because also, if you let your obligation get to like 100, well, then I will specifically make you have to deal with it, because it's going to be either you deal with it or you get vaporized. You know.
But fair.
That's actually something that we should potentially discuss here. Death. So, have any of you experienced PC death permanently?
We're about to say sort of.
No.
Edge of the Empire is a universe where bad things happen to people sometimes. You are also in a ship. And here's the funny thing about a ship: if it explodes,
It's not much to be done. Yeah.
then it's not like the three of you are suddenly like, well, I'll just try to angle myself towards the nearest planet.
I have a
and hope
breathing
that's okay.
mask, so I think I'll be okay, right?
Wow. I don't think it filters air out of no air, though. Do you know what I
So,
mean?
Real Brickwall says, death in Star Wars is considerably difficult. It's true that the system of this game is designed, even if like I hit you with a ton of wounds, the first thing that'll happen is like, oh, I got a boo-boo. Like, it's really not
Big boo.
you have to gain at least 5 critical injuries before death is really something that can, 4, because technically 140 you could, but like, you have to get at least 4 before it's even a possibility, let alone a certainty. Now on a ship it's a bit different, but I'll remind you that you can do things like surrender. In the Star Wars universe, as much as we like to think that the Empire are the bad guys and stuff like that, oftentimes they capture as opposed to straight up kill. Stormtroopers are remarkably restrained when it comes to like restrained in terms of their weapons training, but also restrained in terms of what they will ask of you, even if they're like, well, that's like, oh, you like smuggler scum, but they'll arrest you. They won't necessarily immediately try to shoot you unless you're just like, oh, okay, there's 20 stormtroopers here. Right, like then that's something else. If you're on a ship, your ship will be potentially equipped with an escape pod, right? That you can get in and leave, but also you can surrender. You can, like call out and be like, "No, you got us." So I'm not going to be necessarily out to kill you, but I will point out that if you lose a character, you can make another one. We'll also point out that this is our first season of play, and our season means that we have a specific, limited number of episodes before we'll decide whether we wish to continue playing this campaign or swap to another one. We haven't decided what that is. Do we want to try and decide that now, or is that a discussion that you want to have at another time?
I think that should be a discussion at another time.
I think we have a general.
The range is we're
Somewhere
looking at
between.
20 to 30 episodes, and since this is our first season, our plan is to, after 5 or 10, we're gonna sort of sit down and figure out, okay, this makes sense to be a season length.
Yeah. And then we're kind of gonna have the announcement of if the seas's up for renewal or not.
So-
very exciting
Yeah.
stuff.
So in terms of episodes, part of what might influence our renewal of a season is if there's not another game that we want to play, and this is a game that we're enjoying, then we'll keep playing this one. If there's another game that we're excited about playing, then we can stop this game, but we can also potentially stop it and then start it again. There's nothing that says that Season 5 could be Edge of the Empire again, but maybe with entirely different characters, or it could be like a continuation of the same universe, but you're playing different PCs, or even the same PCs. All of these are possible. But it is important to note that we do have a limited number of episodes, because what we want to avoid is having audience being like, "Oh, I've heard of these RPGClinic people, and I want to
Ripka.
see what they do." And that's fantastic, except then they're like, "What do you mean there's 400 hours of content?"
I can't watch this.
Because
Stable.
what we've also realized is, as much as we have our synopses written out, which is fantastic and all that, people generally don't want to read synopses for 130 episodes. So at the end of a season, if we decide to renew the game, then we will sum up that season to make it easy for someone to hop in for season 2.
Previously on Star Wars Reach.
Exactly. As Requiem points
Yeah.
out. Yes, I think that's. I mean,
I don't
we're
know
gonna
about
see
clip
the exact-
montage, but we'll at least sum up what you need to know going into season 2.
I've been watching Changeling on YouTube, and I have 100 episodes to go. So
You were
I'm
a
so
trooper.
sorry.
RT610.
It's a great campaign. We loved it.
Yeah.
It's huge.
It is a beast.
It's a lot. So if we divide them up into seasons, a season is also designed to be a good place to close because an arc has ended. We're not going to end a season on like, okay, so it's like the arc that we've been going through the entire season is just about to be completed, and but we ran out of time. Like that's not how we're going to do it. Maybe we'll have like a Christmas special at the end of the season, right? Like it could be
And then we'll
Melba's
never
first
post
Christmas.
it on YouTube, or it'll be like private.
Well, it'll actually be
It'll
life
really hard for
Yeah.
people to find it.
Can I
Yes.
have a really weird song?
Melba's first Christmas.
song?
Can you just like
Right.
have a
I'm
no?
a little drugged up. And
I'll
I'm
just have a
singing.
whole montage where we're only speaking in Twi'lek,
Perfect. You'll
obviously.
have to teach me some words, but I'm super down.
That's
Arr.
a good thing about languages.
My note got deleted.
Languages in Star Wars. It is assumed that unless for story purposes a character cannot understand another one, everyone can understand each other. So, for instance, when dealing with a Hutt, even like you, for instance, are fluent in Huttese, right? Which I assume that means that you can also speak it.
Yep.
So that might mean that we know that if Fina is negotiating with a Hutt, then the Hutt might be impressed that she can speak their language. But Hutts understand Basic, and others can understand Hutts, or there might be a protocol droid around who's willing to translate, or blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But if you're in one of those situations where you land on a distant planet and there is an alien there and the alien is talking to you and you do not understand what that alien is saying because it's a species that you've never encountered and it's like not a species that's well known because the planet's uncharted and stuff like that, well, then that's the way it goes. It was like that in the Star Wars movie, so it makes sense. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The rule of Wiki, no one can understand Chewie unless Han is in the room, then everyone understands Chewie. I like to think that people understood Chewie just fine. They just didn't necessarily understand all the inflections and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
They could get the sense.
Yeah, I feel like Luke had some anyway. That's
Yeah.
something for another time.
Real
This is
Brick
great,
Wall,
by
if
the
we
way.
do a Life Day special, that will be a...
April Fools?
I mean, maybe, but I would assume that if we do a Life Day special, then that's the kind of thing that like would be like a good donation drive. Just be like, look, if you manage to hit this level, we'll give you a Life Day celebration. We'll have like 3 different sections to it.
$1 million. Don't do it.
I mean, we'll make Kate sing a song.
I'll
You're all crying because I'm the one person in this room that can't carry a tune.
we'll bring some like weird celebrities totally unaffiliated with the stream on to like hawk their wares.
Keanu Reeves.
I mean, if we have $1 million, we
Just
might be
wanna be
able
his
to like
friend.
give it
Oh,
all to
yeah,
him
yeah.
for like 1 hour.
So the crosshair, if PC wants to keep a language secret, if they don't want to make it clear that they know a language, then yes, that's totally fine. And in terms of secrets, I will also point out that it is fine for players to keep secrets from each other if they wish, but they're under no obligation to hold secrets from each other, even if their characters are holding secrets from each other. The only thing that I ask of my players is that if they have a secret that's kind of essential to their backstory or whatever, that they tell me. And the reason why is either because I want to be able to support that secret, like if it's, oh, I have a secret babby, then I need to know that that babby exists so that I can create the babby. But the other reason why is because secrets can be a difficult thing to navigate if you're not kind of used to it. And some secrets I might warn against. So like if your secret is like, I actually am responsible for killing Fina's family.
Oh.
Like, I might be like,
Whoa.
that's making an assumption about Fina's family that she may not, that Kate
Yeah.
may not appreciate, right? So in that case, I don't want somebody to be like, and this is my big secret reveal, and then like they say it, and then I'm like, no, that's not actually, that's not happening. So secrets must be shared with me, but otherwise they don't have to be shared with players, but they can if they want. I mean, like, look, here's the thing. Sometimes sharing a secret means that everybody gets to enjoy the fact that people don't know the secret.
Yeah, I'm definitely in favor of players know the secret, characters don't. It's just...
Because also then it kind of helps if everyone's on the same page about revealing that secret in a dramatic way, if that's what everyone agrees to.
Right.
It's harder to do if no one knows what's
You can
going
also
on except
partially
you.
reveal a secret. Like you can be like, yeah, I have a secret. It's about my old job. But you don't necessarily have to tell what that secret is.
Everyone's like,
if you want.
Michael.
Yeah.
That's a good hook.
And I will also point out for all of you out there, as a minor RPGClinic tip, if your PC has a secret and the secret is not ever told, you may as well not have had that secret. There's a lot of people who are like, yes, I want to have this secret double life. And then they are so good at concealing it that no one ever finds out. And then at the end, they're like, why didn't anyone find out that I was such a badass? And they're like, because no one knew and you didn't let them know.
Good at it. Yeah, exactly.
The exception is Lavinia Varney being secretly a vampire.
Well, sure, that
because
was perfect.
Kevin Daff, the
So
secret
good.
is that he learned to fly a ship by basically finding like this old pilot who's like, oh, you're a fine. I like the cut of your jib.
I like the cut
And
of
you're
your
like,
kerchief, young man.
and you're like, well, I do have a kerchief, and you can teach me to fly, and I can teach you to fly.
Oh,
yeah.
my goodness.
And that's how that went.
Can we get a timestamp for Jot again, please?
Oh,
Thank
boy.
you very much.
Thank you.
Cut to the clip from Zack Snyder's Watchmen with the flames coming out of the...
Thank you, Erwin. Thank you very much.
What,
They-
until Leonard Cohen?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yes, exactly. Very good.
Yes, we are keeping track.
It's the only way to keep us honest. Is
Is this our new bingo card? It's just like a 5x5 of Jot. And there's a free square in the middle of Jot, of course.
Minutes since the last
Speaking of
Jot.
bingo cards, experience.
Ah.
You'll be earning 15 experience a game.
Whoa.
This is based
Sorry.
on the idea that you have 5 experience per hour of play. And while I recognize that we don't technically play 3 hours, we tend to play more like 2 hours and 40 minutes or 2 hours 45, because our recaps are going to be much shorter because they're just going to be like a minute of scroll and that's it. that's
Sing that too well.
we're
Copyright.
gonna round that up, and you may occasionally get experience bonuses, but that would be expected to happen maybe once at the outside twice in a season.
Okay.
And it may not happen at all. One thing that we are doing away with, though, are XP rewards for play of the game.
Cool.
Why flash the heart? Is it somebody who
We gotta follow.
in chat?
Oh.
We gotta follow. Hey,
Thanks.
the Loracle.
I
I
also
kind of
read
like that.
They Oracle is what I read, but yeah, that makes more sense.
Now here's the thing. We're not necessarily going to get rid of the idea of there being a play of the game, but the idea of rewarding experience for it, as fun as it was initially, the problem is that I did an examination of the play of the game rewards handed out, and for a long time it was actually very even, and then at one point there was a streak, and streaks are always going to happen, right? Like that's the rule of probability. But it really sucks when the streak happens and it's not you. And it starts I can totally understand how it could start feeling really kind of rough of just like, it's been like, if the streak lasts for like 6 games, that's a month and a half of like, I guess I didn't win play of the game.
The Montreal Canadiens have entered the chat. Speaking of streaks, or
Good
lack
God.
thereof. Anyway.
Oh,
Anyway.
John,
oh no.
should I mute you or?
Oh no, he's just showing his. I understand. I don't even really want.
So at this point, instead, at the conclusion of the game, one of the questions that I will be asking you in order for you to earn your experience is, what is something that you appreciated another player did? And the chat is still very welcome to have a play of the game vote, but it will have no mechanical effect.
Cool. That's good to know. So we can not that we.
Captain
wouldn't-
Dav, if you want to drag the Leafs, I am completely okay with this.
Yeah, go for it.
Also, they just drag themselves. Let's be fair.
So, in fact, what we'll probably do is we're going to ask the chat what they think a play of the game was, but we're not going to have a vote specifically for it. So players will say what each other thought. We'll kind of go clockwise one week and counterclockwise the next week, sort of thing, so that you have a chance to compliment different players. And then the chat can say like what their favorite moments were, but we are not doing a vote, and there will not be a mechanical benefit for it.
It's good to know, John. Not that we wouldn't necessarily be on the lookout for like, oh, other PCs did cool stuff. What? You know, but it's good to know that if you're asking the question, we can be like really highlighting it in our minds, and it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
So there will still be questions along the lines of, what did you learn? Thanks, Captain Daff.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good to see you
It's
back.
good to see you. So there is a question of, what did you learn, and what was something X did that you liked, or what's a moment that highlights X's play.
Okay.
So those will be the questions that you will be asked.
Okay.
Answer both those questions and you get 15 shiny XP. You can spend XP because I'm loath. I'm loath in the whole like, let's track when you bought each thing, or spend 5 minutes justifying why you bought this. You can essentially spend XP at any point between sessions. If you are acquiring gear, however, that you actually have to go ahead and do. And the reason why is that if it's something like, oh yeah, I want to get my pistol modified, well, it's kind of hard if you're mid-combat and you're like, well, suddenly my pistol is like, yeah, exactly.
Pass me the duct tape.
There is one thing that I do like about Edge of the Empire that I'm going to point out. And by the way, real quick, while I will talk about house rules in a second, is that there is no crafting in this. Mechanics is strictly to repair. And the reason why I like this is because otherwise it is all too tempting to just spend a whole lot of downtime making your own shit all the time. And that's not really what an adventurer in this game is supposed to do, right? So if you want to upgrade your gear, you're going to have to find somebody else to help you do it.
Okay.
I guess it's a house rule then, real brick wall. There's no crafting in this game.
Yeah, real brick wall.
Ixnay on the afting cray.
Yeah, so if you have mechanics, very useful to be able to repair your own shit. But you're not going to be modding your own blasters. You're not going to be modding your own ship. You're not going to be creating, like, oh, the Redshift runner?
Runner, yeah.
The Redshift runner blew up. I guess I'll make my own YT1300. Like, no.
You guys have any schematics?
We call it the Redshift Rider.
Yeah, I know that it's in the mechanics sidebook. I'm deliberately ignoring that. I'm not like
Redshift. Sorry.
So the thing is, there are certain things that I can totally understand from a player perspective as like a goal, but as an example of what I really liked about somebody who could make things and didn't break the game, you can look at Patches from Changeling. Patches was very good at building shit, but she also didn't constantly build shit to improve her party's chances in combat, which is what happens 95% of the time.
Sorry,
in
guys.
Evercraft.
No, it's fair.
Right.
Sorry for all your chimerical desk that I didn't build shit to fix.
That's all right.
I was riding a tank at the time. It seemed pretty
I
cool.
was a dragon and an idiot. It's okay.
I was a dragon and an idiot.
No,
No,
We're
there's
gonna have
hope.
some of that in this game, that's for sure. Oh my god.
So yeah, it's
That sounds about right, actually.
yeah.
Here it is.
Okay, so yes,
That's wonderful.
if you buy a mod, yes, you can install it using mechanics. That's fine. If you buy a better hyperdrive for your machine, you can install it in your ship using mechanics. That's totally fine. That is sort of counting as repair and maintenance. But it's just you can't build your own hyperdrive.
No.
You have to buy it. Or if your hyperdrive is busted, you just have to. I might be like, you need a part, and then you have to go and get that part. Like you can totally rip something out of another system and smash it into the hyperdrive to make sure that you can get away. That falls under mechanics. But you can't build a ship out of whole cloth.
Ooh, I have a question, John. I know how you feel about like monetary and financial resources in games, but you also just mentioned, if between sessions you want to buy some gear, ...
Yes.
Are we going to have sort of a flexible system in terms of how we earn credits and can then spend them, or how?
You earn credits by completing jobs.
Sounds about right.
You earn credits by doing work, and I will give you credits for it.
That
So that
sounds
you
too
do
much
not
like
get
real
like a
life.
stipend of credits that you
We
regularly
pay
get.
you to drive places.
So it is assumed that all the sort of downtime jobs that you potentially take, like downtime smuggling and all that, they pay for maintenance. Maintenance
Okay.
of your stuff, of yourselves, like food, like I have to repair like the dings in my armor, that kind of stuff. Those are just like the normal run-of-the-mill things that you get. Anything that gives you a significant amount of money that will help you upgrade your gear will be part of the game. Cool. And so therefore you can track it that way. Now I admit that I'm kind of on the, I'm not saying that I'm new to this, but in the past I've been really loath to track resources because I think it's boring as fuck. However, this game's kind of built with that in mind. So we're gonna give it a shot. If I fuck it up, let me know.
Hey, the Loracle,
Hey,
thank
thanks, Loracle.
Thank you for the sub.
Yeah, John, just don't give us like 100,000. I guess what I'm saying.
Oh dear,
Yeah.
I should have gone down the survivalist specialization tree.
For what?
So I can forge food for us and build
Oh.
shelter in the deserts.
Wow.
Why are we gonna need that? Are you going to bankrupt us?
She's assuming I'm going to crash
Maybe.
us on like Tatooine or whatever,
I
and
mean,
then we'll need to.
it is an assumption.
Thanks for the fun.
Oh,
I'm
I should
going
point
to
something out,
Bye,
folks.
Peter.
Our logo.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
our logo should be on the screen right now. Unfortunately, it's not because we banged
Okay.
some stuff together. But we've got our new logo. Our new emotes are on the way. Like we've seen them. We've given our final approval for them. They now have to be approved by Twitch. But we have emotes for everybody. Sub badges and bits badges are on their way. So yeah, that is something that you get to look forward to. These are temporary emotes; they will not remain. So
Yeah, and look forward to them. It's a lot
Yeah,
of fun.
our new emotes are so
Yeah, I'm really
fun.
jazzed.
We hired a real designer that's like
Not just me with a sketch pad.
done
and
really high profile work.
But I gotta say, Kate, like the stuff that you put together is like
Yeah.
fucking bomb.
stuff. Sorry about the. I didn't mean to
No.
imply that I made these. I
I
can't
mean,
make these.
it's Aragorn and also, as I understand, Trey Dog, who helped make the videos. That are
Oh
Oh my
coming
god,
in.
Yeah.
yes.
And we just got to compress those videos, and I know exactly how to do it, but
Time.
Is it like this?
Yeah, it's actually the computer. He
it's
just
like
presses.
this.
Oh my god. John, are you okay?
What if his brain just exploded
Right?
in that moment?
I mean,
Horrible.
I mean, at that, you'd be like, well, who's good at GM now?
I mean, we'd probably go viral on the internet.
We
We'd
would,
have to
that's the
monetize
thing.
the video
Mm.
to pay for the funeral expenses.
Oh
and all
my
the therapy.
god.
Look, no matter
Oh my
what,
God.
Trey Dog, Aragorn, whoever did it, the point is that this is our stream. Like we've got our info boxes, which we're going to be able to do. Hey, look, if you want to learn about mechanics, there you go. It's a skill used to make repairs on vehicles, droids, and other items.
Hey.
We have
mechanics.
a stream that we are like. This is something that I've been dreaming about for years. You can ask the other players. I have mentioned this. This is what I've been wanting for a long time, and we got some of it with full party with Kate like manually like jamming stuff in, but now it's like it's automated, it's slick, it's done, and it's with help not just from not like a huge donation of Kate's time and effort, but also from Aragorn and
Thanks,
Trey Dog, and
Canada.
honestly, even the support that we get from all of you on the Discord, on this, it's great. Why are people going on?
Because
Who's
Requiem
looking?
Lost just
Donated
gifted
a
it
sub.
to your
Hey.
one sub, Captain History.
Thanks,
Ooh, also that's a
Requiem.
fucking cool name, Captain History.
Captain History.
Ugh,
Thank
you
you.
have the-
Captain
It's not
History.
a superpower knowing history though. It's just like a detriment because no one else does, and so you just see everyone repeating it.
Whoa.
What did you want, Kung Fu Fenders?
What?
You shouted I wanted this as well?
Probably info boxes.
Probably. I
imagine,
just
but
want to
we'll
see.
see.
I want to hear.
Stat dragon.
Yeah.
It's a stat visualization system.
So honestly, we've been learning a lot. We've been pushing hard, right? Like one of the things that we've been trying to do is just make this better, not because we're like this is our business. It's just because we just want to do some cool shit. Which one of us wants to do the coolest shit?
What?
Me?
3,
Really?
2, 1.
So now, if this moment happens
This
in
is good.
this game,
100%.
I would be so happy.
But most of us are only going to have one weapon, right? So it's just going to be like,
You can have a standoff with just one weapon.
yeah. It's a lot more like back and forth though. It's
I mean, like, but like you.
v my morals.
What if you also have a knife?
That's
oh,
okay.
a knife.
I just like quietly be like, whoops, Lecco, gone.
Oh, nice.
You install like.
No, I just use like we're able to control them.
They're prehensile.
Yeah.
You can grab stuff with them.
I'm not sure how prehensile they are. I know that they like you can control
They
them to
are.
a certain extent, but I don't
Like
know
they
if
have a whole language of communication with them.
language.
So
But can
cool.
you like lift a blaster rifle with them and fire? I don't
probably
know if they're
like
that strong.
slap it so that it wouldn't shoot someone.
Yeah, so you could probably slap something
Oh, you
with it.
smack
I
me
wouldn't
with
be
your
able
head
to like
tentacles
carry.
and
I wouldn't
find
be
it.
able to like triple, quadruple
Head
wield with two guns.
But
No,
now
you're
I
not that
want to see that so bad.
Oh my god.
Venus here.
So yeah, it's. But here's the thing, we've had
cash and
suggestions from chat which have made it into the game either through the story or even through the mechanics or even through the whole the stream, the meta of it. The fact that we have our Discord, the fact that we have our whole community is fantastic. So thank you.
Yeah, we love you guys. Thank
Yeah.
you. And as we always say on the stream, it's support from y'alls that has made us able to continue it.
So Trey Dog, we
Yeah.
kind of do have
Like this is a green screen behind us.
yeah,
and
like we can. I mean, this is actually what it looks like. It is.
How dare you?
The illusion is dropped. The
illusion
is
Illusion, Michael.
In general,
Illusion.
the green screen is normally just behind me because Kate's normally sitting with the players, but we
I
can't do that right now.
Good.
We're all too smelly.
Holy
Damn it.
shit!
See, I was
not
about to
green
like
curtains.
try to start huffing. I'm like, no, Your lungs are connected to your nose. You need to not get particles
Kate.
into your lungs.
Or
Social distance.
lungs are connected to your
We're
nose.
still maintaining social distancing.
Yeah.
When these two arrive, they've got
Like,
masks on.
Scott and I
They're over
technically
2 meters
can
away
touch if we
from
wanted
us.
to.
Like we do that shit.
Well, Trey Dog's mind was just blown though. Like,
Shit.
they
Holy
did look
shit,
like
not real
curtains
curtains.
though.
I feel like that's
Monster
got to be an
shield.
underground band name. Holy
Yeah.
shit, not,
Not real
curtains.
curtains. That's good. I like that.
Yeah, that was my idea. As soon as we had to, once we were able to be in the same place again, I was like, I shouldn't be on John's background. Picture of curtain. Slap into OBS.
Bam.
Pure genius.
Meh. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because normally we actually got a table specifically so that we could sit 3 people all along, and we can't do that.
So we have lots more space.
It might be a while before we're able to do that. So,
But I'm looking forward to it. Said day.
holy, my Portishead cover band, low.
Nice. There it is.
That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. So we've got all that kind of covered. Is there anything else that we specifically want to go over before we say that session 0 is session hero?
It's so exciting, really.
Well, that's it. I'm gone.
Oh.
Yeet. Have you tried watching Hercules recently?
No? Should I?
Because you
No.
were saying 0 to hero, and that's
No,
a
I just,
song
I
in
just love it.
Hercules did not age terribly well.
Aw.
What?
It's like right.
I thought it was one of the better ones for the aging.
It's just right at the end of the era when it's still fine to objectify women,
Yeah,
like
true.
every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I literally got to a point where I was like, this is annoying. And then it was just like, nope, that was the last straw. don't
I was
keep
the one who
watching.
wanted to
Yeah, you
last straw.
paused it, but I was like, yeah, I'm done too.
Jess Files and I watched Bring It On yesterday.
Oh boy.
I'm sexy. I'm cute. I'm popular to boot.
It's also just all of the words,
Incredible, by the way.
all of the
Slang, the lingo.
the slang,
Slingo.
slurs, all that shit that was
Slurs.
like dropped in the 90s, early 2000s that everyone just put in movies, and then you rewatch them and go, dear God.
Hang on, are you telling me Bring It On
Did not.
isn't of its time? Or is of its time, rather?
It's just.
Crosshair,
I don't
you
really
can
know how to say
totally
it.
throw
Why am I
into,
still
into
rewatching
chat
90s
what you were
movies?
thinking about. I think that would be a good thing for you to reveal.
Oh,
Uh,
please.
Emperor's New Groove.
The
Chaos.
yeah, so throw that in. I'm going to point out also that in the world of Star Wars, thankfully, gender isn't really something that we need to worry about. Sexuality isn't something that we need to worry about. In that you can choose what you want. I'm not saying like
But
sexuality
there
doesn't
isn't
exist in
overt
Star Wars.
bias.
No,
Yeah.
it is very possible that there may be like an individual who might be like, I am not comfortable dealing with Twi'leks, and then like
Quad wheeled. What's happening?
are you gonna start wearing like your hair in pigtails just to like?
The thing is, I cut my hair and then I was like, fuck. I've been out to play Twilight. I should have had the longer hair so that I could have been like, ugh.
Mods.
So who wants to read that out loud? Liz wants to
Liz
read
is
that out
already
loud.
reading it.
Chat achievements will be achievements tracked by the mods, mostly Bun Bun. When unlocked, they award score. Score unlocks rewards for the chat, such as written stories, perhaps one-shots, origin stories, what have you. Chat achievements are secret, but they're there, like a bingo card for the chat. No deep details yet, but will be in Ep 1.
Very good.
Wow.
I'd love to know what kind of deep details we're gonna get.
Are we still doing bingo cards, by the way? Because bingo cards are potentially a thing that could happen.
I love the idea of a bingo card being put together solely based off of what is known of the characters
Now.
from this session.
So bingo cards are
yes.
still a thing.
Oh, boy.
If we complete a bingo card, though, here's the thing: I can't give you 1 XP because in this game,
Doesn't
everything costs at least 5.
five.
Yeah.
It's marked in 5, which is also like, why not just make it all 1?
Yeah,
you
that-
know. But like, I think that it's because
Feels
people
cooler.
like to, yeah.
Oh,
So
drink counters exist.
so Happy Gilmore,
yeah.
drink counters. So drink counters were replaced by bingo cards. So we had drink counters, and then after a while, it became too difficult to either come up with good drink counters, I should say, because they were either too difficult. Like it's every single time Scott shifts and then touches his elbow to the table but only on Tuesdays.
Yeah, sure.
Or it was too obvious, like, so yeah, you've been gone for a little while, Happy Kilmore, but we're so glad you're here. So we instead shifted to bingo cards. So here's the thing, on the Discord, there are bingo cards that are posted, which we can't see. I have made it so that the players can't even see the channel where it exists. And I mean, because I started the Discord, technically I can see all the channels, but I just never go in there. So we don't know what's on the bingo cards. And the bingo cards describe certain activities which may or may not happen. They could describe in-game things, and they can describe out-of-game things. So an in-game thing might be an example of every single time that Rigel says, punch it.
It's a good one.
And that could cross off a thing. Or an out-of-game thing might be every time Liz punches Scott.
Right. Every time in response to punch it, Liz punches Scott.
Every time Rigel says punch it. Okay.
Boom. No.
Head to
Wait.
console.
Go
Or
Gary.
Jot.
Glenn
God, of
Ross,
course, Ash.
a while
Yeah, please.
back, you mentioned that huts are canonically non-binary gender. I did not know that. For some reason, I thought in episode 1, question mark,
cool,
there was like a female hut. But that's super cool to know, so that's really exciting since my character apparently has dealt with them a lot. So thank you for that tidbit.
Ash, I love it.
Oh,
I said download.
I will. Oh, Gardola's gone forever.
Because
They're ganders.
Ganders.
gender is a spectrum, folks.
Yeah, it is. It totally is. And you can be non-binary. And
Yeah, it's actually, it's not even
We're
a spectrum,
addressed.
it's like a hyperplane.
Nice. Although it has been mentioned a few times, I think, as we all know, we're gonna have our characters' pronouns up. Oh, ours as well. If people feel comfortable with that, we can. If
I
there's
don't look
overlay
because it's not as
space.
fun if I know what's on there, right? Because then I'll subconsciously either avoid triggering bingo, or I subconsciously try to trigger your bingo. And it's more fun when we're like, oh, okay, because every once in a while everyone teases us with like, oh, we've got 2 close bingos, and I'm
bingo,
like,
yeah.
oh.
We're like, oh,
So I will say that if we fill out a bingo card for now, you will gain 5 experience.
Ooh, fun.
All of you. Also, all of you will gain
think it's
experience
working.
for every session that is played. So even if you have to miss a session, you will get the experience for it. So you can just track experience based on, like, look, literally it's going to be the number of episodes that we've had times 15 is the amount of experience you have plus any bingo rewards. That's it. Because you will always have the same amount of experience to spend or to
Amongst us.
whatever. Yeah.
Cool.
If you can guess, I'll confirm.
That's
but
that's
that's
a power
experience.
play, folks. Cool.
For you.
That's great.
That's in terms of progression. That's how it goes.
I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too. That's it's a weird motley crew of people.
What's
and
gonna happen
lots of
to us?
Crazy stuff on the outer rim.
But what we're gonna do is we're gonna find out.
Can't wait to travel with my best friend.
Oh shit. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna find that out. We're gonna have an episode 1. And we're gonna go from there and find out what's going on. 5 XP per session is slower than the game's default recommendation, so the bonus XP will not put the players very hard ahead of the curve. So Real Brickwall, I was under the impression that it was an official 5 XP per hour of play, but I'm also totally okay with if you tell me that that's not necessarily the thing. But yes, the bingo cards will start to occasionally give bonuses for that.
Yeah, because we were saying 15 per session, and then a bingo card would be an extra 5.
It's an extra 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you could potentially unlock a bingo card in 1 session.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
True.
I mean, I might start asking Aragorn to change the bingo cards if they become too easy or too hard to fill out, but I trust that Aragorn knows what she's doing.
Hard to fill out.
Actually, you know, we
Good
have some of the
dice.
dice. Can we show off some of the dice?
Uh,
Those are the Genesis dice. Where's the Star Wars dice?
Throw them away.
They're the same dice, but like, let's not confuse
They're not
people because
quite.
they'll see the Star Wars dice.
I don't know.
Do we ruin this? I think we can say you'll be able to see the dice rolls on the screen for the first time. We will not have a dice cam. Instead, you'll be able to see the results of our online rolls, and we will put them on the screen for times when the rolls are important. Like if it's just a quick roll, I may not swap to show, but we will have dice rolls finally on screen. We have the technology.
Did you want to hold up?
Assuming that the window decides to actually update. because it was working and then now it's not working. So we'll see.
So why don't you here? Let's go
yes.
through the dice quickly and
Let's do it.
So
Get one of each.
show me a green die. So the green die is called an ability die. And this is the stuff that sort of makes up your pool. Throw me a yellow die. So the yellow dice, there's another one on the other side. Yeah, there you go. So the yellow dice upgrade a green die. So a green die and a yellow die form the basis of your positive pool, but then you can also get boost dice. Those are the blue dice. So the blue dice are things that I might reward if, like, you have like a temporary advantage because of some random happenstance, or because you have prepared something, like you've aimed your weapon, or you're helping out another character, and they might get a blue die. So those 3 dice in total form a character's ability to get successes and advantages, as well as triumphs, but we'll get into that in a second. Now, when I say that something is difficulty 2, that means that they have to add 2 purple dice, like those. Those dice contain failures and threats. Now, sometimes I will upgrade the difficulty, especially if they're encountering an NPC, in which case that die will become a red challenge die. And then if there's anything that's sort of acting against them, similar to a boost die, we have a setback die. All 6 of these dice are rolled together. Successes cancel out failures, advantages cancel out threats. So these are different symbols that you'll find on the dice themselves. If there's even 1 success that remains, are you throwing up success?
Sorry, I was answering things.
I got it.
Yep, got it.
Yeah. If there's even 1 success that remains after all the dice are rolled, that means the action was successful. More successes means better results in things like combat and the like. Like, for instance, for astrogation, 1 success means that you'll eventually get there, but multiple successes either means that you found a shorter route, so it'll take less time, or you make the calculations quicker, which could be essential if you're in the middle of combat, because every round could be another round that you might get vaporized. You can also accumulate either advantage or threat. They cancel each other out, but you will get some at the end of the roll, or none. You can't have both advantage and threat. You can only have one or the other. But these either provide a positive or a negative side effect, benefit, complication, or whatever, regardless of whether you succeeded or failed. So while you can get 3 successes, which means you've succeeded quite well, you can also generate 2 threat, which means something else happens that is not good. Or you can generate 3 advantage, which is something that is better. So advantage and threat, players can suggest what they might want to be able to do with that, but often I will just adjudicate that myself. So if you roll 3 advantage, perhaps Kate might ask, like, okay, does that mean that, like, there's cover that I can duck behind? And I'd be like, sure, like, that's that's totally fine. Weapons can have, like, abilities they can activate if you spend enough advantage for that. But then threat are bad things that happen, and I will almost always be the one to adjudicate those. Threats could be like, yep, you totally succeeded in getting the door open, but you triggered an alarm. Or, yes, you've managed to shoot the stormtrooper, but the stormtrooper falls over the gangplank and falls to the, like, core of the Death Star. I don't know why you're on the Death Star.
Classic Ruggles.
Right? And therefore you can no longer get the information that you needed from the stormtrooper. That sort of thing. Finally, there's triumph and despair. A triumph result on a die, which is only found on the yellow dice. Good point of the plastic.
Yeah,
right?
sorry.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
So triumph means that not only do you get a success, but you also get some amazing thing that happens. Think it's like an exceptional, crazy good fortune. So if you roll a triumph, it could mean that you traded in for, like, a weapon ability. That's also possible, but you can also use the triumph for something like you shoot the stormtrooper and the stormtrooper manages to stagger back and smashes a control panel, which happened to be the tractor beam control panel, which was holding the ship in place.
There's a typo in Triumph.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
The on-screen one?
Yeah.
Triumph. But despair means that something horrible happens. Maybe your gun breaks, or while you manage, like, and you can get a despair even for a success. So you could successfully shoot the stormtrooper, but as the stormtrooper is dying, the stormtrooper's like, "I'm actually your father," and then dies. You're like, "Oh, I just killed my own dad!"
No.
Right? Like it.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I was
Oh,
not
thinking
for,
Aragorn.
Yeah, not for.
A tender thank.
A tender thank. The Redshift runner in the general Discord. You have to decide whether you want that Redshift to be
General.
Redshift or Red Shift.
Yeah.
But we'll make sure that
General
it's clear
Discord.
for everybody.
And that means if it fucks up, can we call it like, oh, it's red shit right now?
Sure, Melba. We can call it the red shit.
You may want to get that checked out, Rigel.
What have you been snacking on, Melba? If you have red shit, I don't think that's standard.
No, Scott, no.
We're taking interviews for people who want to. Oh no, he flashed a green card.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
fine.
we're good. We're good. No interview.
Why did you say red card?
Did I?
thought-
I meant to say green if I said red. I'm sorry.
I thought
No,
you said
you were
red.
thinking of red shit.
Sure.
I think.
Sure. Dennis the Menace.
What the?
I love the like. I'm really excited to work with this system because I think while the storyteller system has a lot of variety in terms of how roles can be interpreted and so on, I think it's really cool to have a system that deliberately encourages like, did you do your thing or not, versus is something good going to come of this or not, right? Because those aren't mutually exclusive, which is great.
It's cold outside, there's no
Feel
kind of
kind of atmosphere.
atmosphere, all alone, more or less. Let me fly far away
pretty.
from here.
I know,
Sun.
Gorge.
Wow.
It's gorge.
I'll let
Out
you-
of
Sorry,
there.
it's been a while since I've seen Red Dwarf, but I really love
With
it.
all the talk about dice, do you want to hit that show dice for 10 seconds, even though it doesn't contain what it'll like because they're in the middle of updates?
Damn right, I want to hit that.
Yeah. Tap
that.
that.
Show
yeah, no,
dice?
Yeah, show dice 10
So
seconds.
dice, give me some more.
And it, of course, doesn't work. Can you try getting
Show
a
dice.
phone press?
I don't know. I'm so sorry that you have to sit
I'm
next
not
to me for
actually
this.
gonna
F.
be mad at Melba.
You might though.
Show F in chat.
Self F.
It's,
Can we get an
yeah,
F for
so I
Kate?
think that it might just be that we're not connected properly to Updeck. Or this URL isn't working properly.
Could you try one more time? Okay, yeah, I don't know why that's not working. Wait. Okay. Don't mind me.
Can you try?
I specifically didn't copy that into my phone's stack of buttons. Rip.
Maybe that's why it's not working.
Thanks.
Slow.
Maybe.
Road has been
Maybe that's why these aren't working either.
Yeah.
That's fine. We
What?
will discover.
Yep.
So no, we're not showing you the dice today. Ha 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 ha.
Ah, psych.
I can fix.
Smoke bomb.
Not now. Fix later. Hydrate now.
Yes, hydrate. Good idea, everyone. Water's good. Don't forget to drink it.
Stream is what made me buy a chunker. Well, not ask for a chunker of a water bottle for my birthday, which I got. But like, this thing is
Oh,
1.2 liters
Yeah, it's
why does it have the thing on the bottom?
because
capacity.
it's so that it's not like a
But why does it
like a
come off?
clang. Because if
Then
you want to
can
wash
clean
it,
out
or
or remove it.
it's just rubber
Okay.
versus.
Aluminium.
Cool. I like it. It's a lot of water.
Ripka. I should have. You know what we should have done though? We should have got this in like green.
Ah,
So it would disappear? No.
You've tricked me for the last time, Ripka.
Damn you, Ripka!
The orange balls to the walls. What the fuck?
Yeah, what the
I
fuck?
don't know.
I mean, the crosshair.
Oh.
Other Sepum Techno's visual styles things, players.
What?
We don't have Timmy anymore. Right?
Sure, yeah.
We
that,
fell down the
Fell down
well.
the well.
And, you know.
Fucking Timmy.
That was rough.
Mm-hmm.
So disappointing when Timmy
We would
fell
like an
down the
NPC
well.
named Ripka. Thank you.
Noted.
begins to burn the chat in honor of the past.
No, wait.
The only way.
No.
Yeah, can there still be a corner in space?
Yeah.
Or is it like, go to the black hole,
I mean,
crosshair?
yeah, I guess. There's no
Oh.
corners in space, really, right?
Yeah.
It's infinite in all directions.
No.
I mean,
Or is it?
Okay.
saying, okay, it's
Stream
no corner,
technical
that's fine.
orientation.
Nice.
There's
Pukajutsu
many corners in space.
is the
Kiki.
best. Pook, if stream is your. Now I feel uncomfortable saying Pukajutsu because I know that that's not what he likes. He likes being called
Preferred.
Book. You could always call him Matthias.
Please slide into my DMs if you want to talk stream tech.
Kate will allow the slide into the DMs.
Done. Stab.
Stab.
I get that a lot.
Kate will remember this.
Fujitsu will remember this. Yeah, I think there's a lot to be excited about. I know I am, and always undertaking new characters and a new adventure is just like, how are we all gonna fit? How are the pieces gonna fit together? What are we gonna end up doing? What kind of challenges and/or opportunities are we gonna face?
How are they going to speak?
What do you mean?
How are our characters going to talk? What are they going to say?
Basic.
Their
Oh,
vocabulary going to be
I
like?
just moved here from Canada, and they think I'm a little slow, eh?
oh boy.
I had to speak some serious French at 11 a.m. today.
Athena, are you okay?
And I was very drowsy from that pill.
You were.
That was somehow.
I mean, we could
I
talk
didn't
like the
screw up.
aliens in Galaxy Quest.
Wait, say that again?
I mean, I could talk like the aliens in Galaxy Quest.
That was so much.
You will
weirder than I
destroy.
I think that's also
Your
the
vocal
loudest I've
cords.
ever heard Kate's voice go, too. Like,
It's
you.
because I'm inhaling instead of exhaling.
Oh my god.
That was shocking.
Holy hell.
I,
Holy
John, when you
shit.
asked me what I liked today, I liked when Kate did that.
That
That's
was,
what,
that was
that's what I liked.
insane.
Galaxy
All right, I
Quest.
guess that's how
I
Peter
guess that's
talks.
how-
God,
Yes.
no.
No, please don't.
You
please
will
don't do this.
wreck
Please don't.
yourself.
Da, 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 da.
And you have to chuck your.
Chuck
You
my.
have to chuck yourself before you ruck yourself.
What
yeah,
the
you're-
fuck?
Bye.
I think I just gave myself the hiccups. Like I can feel that like diaphragm tension.
Oh, we gotta put Destiny points in the info box.
Yeah, it's on my list. Thank you.
Yes.
No,
What's the
thank you.
destiny point?
Well, I don't know. I don't have a button for it.
Well, now we can just look it up in this big ass book that we have that costs way too much money. It is a gorgeous book,
It's
though, by the way.
nice.
It's a really nice book.
I think we need to put on the bingo sheet anytime we mention the cost of the book.
Well, that was like exalted, right?
Oh,
It's
exactly.
like
Anytime we
huge
mention the
book,
size of the
you
book.
know, third of a Liz head.
Yeah, we're mad, but not really, about the cost of the book. Yeah.
So, here we go for Destiny points. We will, I'm going to read it from, even though I know what they do, I'm just going to read it from here because it's useful. So,
Official.
Destiny points. How Destiny points are used. So, at the beginning of the game, or of every session, each of you is going to roll a force die. Now, force dice aren't really dice that you're going to be using a whole lot because none of you use the force. But the force die has dark side points and light side points on it. Each face has 1 or 2. So the players will each roll 1, and for every dark side point, there will be a dark side
Always
destiny
dark?
point added, and for every light side point they roll, there will be a light side destiny point added. And here's how you can use them. When you use them, you can call on destiny to enhance any skill check you're about to attempt. You can spend 1 destiny point to upgrade your starting dice pool by 1 step. So that changes an ability die into a proficiency die. You can knock over a water bottle. You can also use it to keep characters out of harm's way, so you can make an opponent's skill check more challenging. I would always flip a destiny point to dark. One of my players made a really awful punter joke.
So rude, Real Brick Wall. I love it.
Oh my god.
That's horrible. Then special abilities or talents. So some talents or some special abilities, you'll have to spend a destiny point. And finally, luck and Deus Ex Machina. So these are things that you can do to either to suggest either things that were lucky or to retcon minor things in the game. So you can spend a destiny point to say, oh wow, it's sure good that we remembered to get those rebreathers the last time we were in port because you landed on a planet without a breathable atmosphere and you want to be able to go outside. So you can spend a destiny point for that. You can also spend a destiny point to be like, man, I really hope that in this locker there's a spare stim pack. And oh look, there is one because you spent a destiny point. Now I can refuse
Yeah, I would.
a particular request, in which case you don't actually spend the point. But in general, as long as it's something that doesn't disrupt game too much, that'll be fine. Now, the other thing though is that every time you spend a light side destiny point, it becomes a dark side destiny point that I can use. I'm allowed to spend destiny points to make my NPCs have higher rolls, to make your PCs have more challenging rolls. But every time I spend a point, it becomes a light side point. So it's kind of a back and forth.
That's a really exciting thing that I'm hoping. Each group of players and who play Edge of the Empire. Like, I'm sure there's going to be a different give and take of Destiny points depending on the group. But like, I'm very excited to start to find that flow of like, okay, how often can we spend these light side points? Is John hoarding them? / are we hoarding them? Not hoarding, but you know what I mean.
It is against the spirit of the game
Yeah.
to hoard points
Yeah.
so that the other side doesn't get to use them.
Yeah.
But it's still can totally happen that if you spend all your light side points, that's it. You don't get any until I choose to spend some. So a little hoarding is to be expected, but like if the whole point is that players never ever spend them because they're like, well, I don't want to let the GM do this, then you know.
If I've learned one thing from card games that I never learned from video games, it's that if you have a card, if you never play the card, it's useless. Like, you have to use the resources you have.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to use them judiciously, but like, I'm just really excited to sort of try that out and see kind of how we can use them to greater effect.
#dead cards.
Yeah, seriously. Maybe it's obviously a bit different right now.
It would be so cool if you had like glass beads and a fancy balance scale showing how far it is to either side. So, admittedly, that would be badass if we have something that goes back and forth. However, the software that we're using to track dice rolls also tracks Destiny points, so they will be on screen.
Please stop
You will
giving
get to see
Kate
them.
ideas.
But like that
She's
does
done
sound
so much.
pretty baller, right?
Yeah,
Like,
right? The balance
of
thing would be great.
the
When
force.
we're done social distancing, we can do things with physical objects. Until that time, technology.
Technology.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, you are.
Have I been unmuted this whole time?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. You're so
welcome.
good. You're so fast.
Real recall that may actually come up. So it's true. You can't spend a Destiny point that the other side is in the middle of spending. So if it's if you have only dark side points in your Destiny pool and I spend one, you can't then be like, okay, well now you can't do that.
Counterspell.
Uno reverso.
The other thing is that the
not
acting
that
party gets to choose to use a light side or dark side point. Then the other side gets to choose, and that's it. So you can't kind of not spend one, and then as soon as your opponent does, you can be like, well, now I'm going to spend one. No, you get one opportunity to spend a Destiny point, and then after that, you give it up.
Active player.
And you can only
chooses
spend
the
one
creatures.
Destiny point a turn.
Right.
So that's also important. If you have a talent that needs you to spend a Destiny point, you can't also increase your pool.
Right. There's only ever going to be like 6 at most in the pool, right? So it's not like you will have them to burn all the time anyway. 6, right? Am I right?
Knowing us, we're going to forget we have them too.
Oh, guaranteed.
Can you pass me the box of dice?
Yes.
Because I think
You
the
wanna check
dice
real
are
quick, Alistair?
identical on both sides.
So-
No, the whole box.
That makes more sense. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry,
I
thank you.
handled that
Yeah.
one.
So as Roberqual pointed
Don't
out,
touch it.
the
won't
Force die
breathe it
has
in.
there are more dark side sides, but the same number of points. It's just that I think that's
It's
really
very
cool.
cool, yeah.
It means that the dark side is easier, but that the light side has
If you tap
potentially more
into the
power to
light
it.
side,
More
it's
value,
more worthwhile.
Thanks, Melba.
Hey, you're welcome, bud. Really stoked we're on this space adventure together.
So
She's from
basically,
Minnesota.
so Melba Gravlax is Minnesotan.
Like, I'm not saying she is. I'm not saying she isn't.
But I
We
like
might-
how we're already starting to get like a little bit of insight into what's going on here with Melba Gravlax.
Melba.
It's happening.
Gravlax.
It's all
Oh,
just
they're
it's all
distributed
just-
differently. That's interesting.
It's possibly.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm just trying a few things out. We'll see, but I'm liking that direction so far. Especially
can't-
because I know Scott hates it, which makes me.
I just hope that you don't ever die, because then somebody could turn to the other one and be like, "Melba's toast."
Oh no!
That's all the more
Yeah.
reason to die. Are you kidding?
Oh well, then there you go.
Actually, I would say
Hated
if
I
she,
would
like,
be an
goes
awfully
off-
big adventure.
Uh,
Oh my god.
Hey Chase, jumping in late. My question is chronologically, when is this taking place? It is taking place between Episode 4 and Episode 5, so it's after the Battle of Yavin, after the first Death Star was exploded, courtesy of Luke Skywalker, and before the Battle of Hoth.
courtesy of the Empire.
Yep.
I don't know. It's just tacking on there.
Watch this. Scott hates it when I do this. I mean, Happy Gilmore, isn't that mostly the reason why anybody tunes into these streams anyway?
I think so.
It's like the basis of LARPs.
Good night. Just kidding. Not yet.
Yeah.
Thoughts, feelings, statistical analyses.
I kind of like Melba as a
So
this will be good
They have
character.
the same number of blank spaces, but there's a different distribution of what's on the different dice of like success,
Difficulty versus-
fail.
Oh, cool.
Like, yeah, so they have the same number of like everything has
The
one
icons
blank
are
face
named.
except for the boost and setback, which have 2 blank faces. But yeah, there's different
Arrangements
distributions.
of things, right?
So that's cool.
Yeah.
The basis of every good relationship is a deep, unabiding love
For mocking the other, not mocking, but like
I mean,
annoying,
needling?
Poking? Needling. That's a tactic that I learned in theater school.
set carbine for bullets.
Somebody write that down. Oh, you did. Thanks, Crosshair. We'll write it down on our end too.
I'm glad everyone's really vibing with the name.
Yay.
It's good.
I must admit, I.
See, everyone's talking about Melba being peachy, but Melba toast, yo.
Well, we're talking about Peach Melba and Melba Toast. It's a
Which one? Did you have one in mind when you chose Melba?
Melba Toast specifically, and Gravlax. I just thought I thought the whole thing flowed very well. It was nice. It sounded Star Warsy while also being kind of stupid.
Yep.
Like
Tell
her.
that to my roll results during practice. Real brick wall.
Seriously.
So
Oh,
we,
yeah.
we ran
Practice was.
we ran some practice, and we'll probably be running some more. But we ran some practice rolls for combat and spaceship combat, and let's just say for spaceship combat, I fucking vaporized them.
If that had been on stream,
The ship went full Melba toast. Like
It
yeah,
was-
fully.
That
I
is-
rolled like 6 successes, and then I rolled another 5
Yeah, we
successes.
were like,
it was
what?
like
No,
This is RNG.
we stopped before the inevitable kaboom. We're like, okay, let's try
Oh,
something
yeah.
else.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was no good. I mean, Kate and I kept trying to.
oh no, the
we
TIE
were in the
pilot-
gunner positions, and
so
we
the
just
TIE
kept
pilot
missing.
died
It
in
was
one
terrible.
round. It was when I brought another YT 1300,
Yeah.
and I just had the two of them face off, face to face. Yeah, that was bad.
I mean, weirdness, it's possible. Maybe she does have some hidden
The
talents.
singing skip tracer.
I don't know.
Ooh, so
If you want me to give you some more directed tips on making a balanced space fight, I can send me some ideas. I appreciate that. It was literally the dice.
Yeah.
Like, it was just, I was just like, whoa! And also, I totally recognize that an average encounter would not be, I'm going to throw a ship which is has exactly the same armament that you do, except a more skilled pilot, which is what I did.
Ouch.
yeah, I know, harsh, but fair.
Stone cold.
Yes, real brick wall, exactly.
Exactly.
So I was just, because the first fight was easy, and then I wanted to make it hard. I didn't realize that, like, I was also going to roll 6 successes. So.
yeah. It was also like we were rolling no successes. Like we'd get an advantage, but yeah.
Hell, Aragorn?
Show
Dudes.
that channel, you're
I
my
mean,
live
look,
show.
Hamilton is fantastic. At least
How does
Alexa
a
has
bit-
good taste.
I mean, the best part is that Alexa isn't here.
Rigel.
So if we start shouting out
Rigel.
that particular name, then we can also mess with anybody who uses an Amazon
Alexa.
Oh no, why would you do? Okay.
I didn't say anything else.
It's true. Grubermensch asks if there's like other, influences or inspirations or whatever, and I think maybe that would apply to PC creation, but it might also apply to sort of John's thoughts about the game and stuff.
So I will say that one of there's a few inspirations that I'm taking for the campaign itself. One of them is quite obviously The Mandalorian, which is this is a lukewarm take at best, but The Mandalorian is the best Star Wars that has existed in decades.
It's a pretty hot take, though.
Is it?
I like it. I mean, I agree with it. I just mean it's a hot take.
Ooh,
I'm
Pooks
excited.
Magoops agrees.
I just don't like it.
It's.
I like it.
Okay.
I will also put this. I love the Force. Like when I played in a Star Wars campaign, I played in 2 in my youth.
Oh, your youth.
My youth, and I got to play a Force sensitive person once, and I absolutely adored it. I also think that Star Wars is not good when the Force is fucking everywhere. It's more interesting because if you in the original trilogy, it's sort of like little bits. In the first one, it's almost not there at all.
that will be never. Sorry, real brick wall.
Roberqual, you need the Crosshair's friend.
Roberqual,
with
you can watch The
DVDs.
Mandalorian without buying Disney fucking Plus, but you have to do so without buying anything and with risking your...
Yes, all I will say is YAR! No, it's yeah.
Star Wars is better when the Force is not everywhere. So, that's part of why I think The Mandalorian is excellent. Part of the other thing that I'm going to point out is that I'm also taking inspiration from the idea that Star Wars is allowed to be a funny place. It is allowed to be a place of high action and high daring do, but at the same time, these players have made characters that are not necessarily heroes yet, and maybe they will never be heroes in that sense of the word. So that's where I'm coming from. Any other inspirations from any of you?
Star Wars and Firefly have always reminded me a lot of each other. So, especially with characters like Inara, you know, and then Kate introduces her character. I'm kind of like, okay, like a very social, politico type. Not exactly the same,
Inara?
but yeah,
Where's that from?
Firefly.
Oh yeah, if you haven't watched.
And then she puts
I've
the
watched like a few
pen down.
episodes and never cared. Sorry,
That's
everyone on
fine.
the internet.
It's okay. You can like what you like.
Well,
Very
Firefly
cool
got ruined for a bunch of people when everybody really loved Firefly and
Yeah.
wouldn't shut the fuck up
Yeah.
about
That's
it.
fair.
Spaceballs, I said it. You're welcome.
Spice Balls.
Spaceballs, the coloring
like
book.
Spice
Spaceballs,
World?
the flamethrower. The kids love this one.
I went from blow to suck.
Went from suck to blow.
Does that make Melba the Jane of the crew?
Well, Spice Balls.
The Undertale of Firefly Flans. So yeah, that's the thing. If you
Fair.
love something a lot,
Fair.
the easiest way to make somebody not love it is to tell them all about it. So
And for me, I'm getting I know they're kind of in the same world in a lot of ways, but I'm getting a kind of, I was thinking, wouldn't it be fun to sort of have a character who feels really out of place in like an Indiana Jones adventure?
Ooh.
And I'm a huge Peter Lorre fan, so I was like, can we, like, you know, fitting Peter Lorre into an Indiana Jones adventure would feel weird, and then so I kind of started going down that path. That's my inspiration.
Pook, I have heard. I've also heard that I've played it, and I think that it is a fine game, but not the game for me. And I don't have time
Autocorrect.
to play it.
I just imagine
Look,
Pook
yes.
like walking down the
You
street
yes,
going,
exclamation mark.
"Hey, have you heard of the Final Fantasy?"
I would play it if I didn't have a job. I think I'd give it a real shot if that was the case, but at the moment I just don't have the time.
I'm the Simon.
You're like Simon and Wash smushed together.
Simon, if he was flying the ship.
Ugh.
Which character is going to be the first to fuck a droid?
I didn't even get a chance to point.
Hooray!
I'm gonna point at John.
I mean, yes, actually, probably. Because he's all the NPCs. Someone somewhere in the universe is probably fucking a droid,
Already.
okay?
fucking really good. That's very funny, actually. I wanna be.
Is that going to be a
there.
bingo slot? Probably.
Poor Rigel.
Thanks, Crosshair,
I'm
for reminding me about Sex
sorry.
P.
Should I tell everyone what the specific
Fisto
request you
is
made
back.
of me?
No. What?
Okay.
Baby.
What? Well, no. What request did I make?
You were like, please don't start making
Oh yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
sex, right?
We were driving like a couple of days ago, and you know, Liz was like, "Oh yeah, fuck a droid." It came up in conversation between the two of us, and I was like, "Can you please not tell the chat that, so at least like they don't get that impression before we start playing?" But the impression
Oh wow!
started. It's
I
good.
didn't even hear that. I was.
No, I know. That's why it's amazing.
Yeah.
No, but like, I just mean that like.
It wasn't
it's
a
already
droid, it was
happening.
your ship.
Oh, it's true. That's true.
Because you were in love with your ship.
There
It wasn't a droid, it was
Was
joking
a
about
Rigel, had
being
a
in love with
droid,
its
and
ship.
bingo
Bing,
was
bing.
its name. Oh, bingo!
Bingo.
It's like, it was a deep love that he feels for his ship. You know.
Quick, it needs to be repaired. Interface with the ship.
Interface with the Rigel, get in there.
I wanna know what love is.
Wow, 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 wow.
You'd kiss an IG unit?
I mean, they're pretty cool.
Droid can be named
Be the last
Ringo.
thing you ever
Mando,
do.
Yes,
Jeez.
seriously.
Yeah.
Careful.
Want
But
you to
don't worry,
show
it's not going to
me.
happen.
What's not
I should be wearing the guy liner for that.
We're not
Yeah.
gonna
I
make fun
want
of
to
you.
feel love.
What if I? Okay, so now that you've promised that on stream, I'm gonna do everything in my power to push it as far as possible.
Hey, you do whatever you want, buddy. You have my full support. And I will not mock you for what you choose to do with your life.
Thanks, Velma.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
I mean, the problem is that if you have
Hey,
sex with your
guitar.
ship, the other two people are also inside.
That's right.
No, you
Making
wait.
eye
No,
contact
no,
with
you're
you every
guarding
step
the
of
ship
way.
for a quick getaway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys handle the talking and the shooting. I'll just wait here.
God.
It gives a real different meaning when you yell "punch it," though.
Jesus. Taking evasive action. I don't. The ship can be the river from Exaltwitch.
Your wedding song was "I Want to Know Love." Nice.
Aww.
Wait, show punch it. Hold on a minute.
It's probably a
Does it?
Yeah, or punch it.
Does it?
Try that, or did I not? I don't think I
We
didn't
haven't
finish
put
the
in
whole
all
list.
the pilot
I
cannons
didn't
in the
get to
water.
the end of vehicles. There
Yeah.
were too many, and I didn't
Kate,
think we were gonna be.
Wow, Kate, you really
vehicling-
didn't do enough.
Yeah, I know. Wait,
You heard it here first, folks.
I have 0 vehicles.
This is
Uh,
I was being.
annoying.
But punch it is an action that you can take with a vehicle that
You
does
go to your
a
maximum
thing.
speed.
You have the cheat sheet
Yeah,
for vehicles.
I do. But you go to your maximum speed.
And one day we'll animate it so there's just the little ship and it goes. Just like flies across. Oh, wait, never mind. Shit, sorry.
That. Wait, what?
Never mind.
Done.
Nothing? Done? Oh, God. Oh,
God
jeez.
damn it.
when we
Punch
were
it,
driving,
yeah.
Stop saying things.
we were
as
driving at one point. We were
jokes,
listening to
Liz.
a podcast that was detailing how they did the sound effects for the various Star Wars and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've heard really cool things about that. Actually, I was listening to some BTS content from the original trilogy as well. It's just really cool to think of what you're able to accomplish with some technology, but needing to sort of like go further, which is like what we do here on RPGClinic. We have some technology and we take it further. You might even say we reach. Oh, punch it. Oh, up and
Yep.
okay,
No. Reach. I like reach.
You might
I
even
like
say
reach.
Well, are you excited?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you excited?
Are you excited? John?
Oh,
John?
John.
John.
Oh, boy.
Oh, Kung Fu Fenris is wanting to know if there are influences for Fina.
There definitely were when I started
Inspector
character
Gadget.
creation like 2 months ago. Did I write them down? No. I will have an obligation and inspiration next week.
I was inspired by the deadline.
How many times have I been?
No, but seriously.
I definitely had some. I just haven't like written them down. So
That's fair.
there were also like I feel like with patches, I was like a few sessions in when I started to be like, oh, this correlates to that, and then I pulled it in. So I feel like it takes a bit of playing a character for me to really find the pieces to.
Bring them together.
Yeah, for sure.
The mighty whoosh.
So what can you look forward to? You can look forward to some Star Wars adventuring next week. You can look forward to emotes if you're a sub. There are many subs now at this point, which is great. And if you're a Dom, then try being a Switch once in your life and be a sub.
Hot takes. I love it.
Just use safe words. And
Yes.
yeah, green
Very
card, green
important.
card.
Yeah, green card. Good.
Use safety tools if you're a Dom.
So yeah, the emotes are coming in. That's really exciting. We'll be able to play this. I should say that, am I excited? Yeah. Am I nervous? Yes. This is outside of my comfort zone. I have not run this setting before, and I have not run this system a whole lot. So will it work out? I only have to struggle through 20 to 30 episodes
gonna be great.
before I quit.
No. Oh. Season one's not being renewed.
So we have that to look forward to, is to see whether I fuck up. But otherwise, we might have some things happening during the week.
Coming up first on Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern over on twitch.tv/BiffTheBoss. That's me.
That's me.
But that's me. I've learned recently of a of a game called Night Trap that I am
Oh my god.
so excited to try. It's
You haven't played Night Trap?
never. I'd
No.
never even heard of it until I watched
Until
the
we watched
Netflix
High
doc.
Score.
Until we watched
Well.
High Score. Yeah, no, I know.
Great series, by the way.
So,
High Score.
I guess it'll
little
be a
thing.
striker. I don't know. I'm not sure. It's gonna be an FMV massacre. It's gonna be horrible.
I actually think it
so
should be
join me
Dr.
for that,
Surgeon.
please.
I don't think it's against. I don't think it's bad enough to be against Twitch's TOS.
Night Trap, there's a list we can check, but I don't
Yeah,
should
do
actually
double check. Like I
It
don't think
was
it's that bad.
I don't
Rated
think it's
mature,
on,
like
it's
back
been
in the
released
day.
on a Nintendo console. It should be
That's
fine.
Yeah, but
I
still
should
double
check
check.
those.
That's
Before
right.
you
There
lose
is
your
no
account.
Drew Crew on Wednesday because we are visiting a kitten. It has been rescheduled to Saturday. So 3 p.m. on Saturday is going to be Drew Crew.
Yeah, I'll probably steal on that because I failed to steal stream on Saturday because I
time
was
is Drew
attending a
Crew
wedding that
usually?
was continually late.
Is Drew Crew usually at 4?
Yeah, it's usually 4. But we are seeing Kitten at 4:30, so that does not work.
Perfect.
Unless you would
No,
like
just
live
wanted to
stream of
make sure.
Kitten visit.
I mean,
'cause-
yes.
Yeah, why are you asking?
Hi, can I hop
Obviously.
on your Wi-Fi? Thank you so much.
I was visiting
I'll
some
just give you
family.
my phone. Just tether off of
There
it.
you go. I was visiting some family yesterday. And
Uh,
there was a
Ripica-
stray. Oh my god, it was beautiful. Anyway.
RPGClinic would be on Thursday. Someone's going to take it.
Yep.
It'll be me if it isn't somebody else. Are you ready to
I
RPGClinic?
might do one on the tech since you've seen basically everything I've done. How to do stream tech
If you feel up to it.
on
Kate, that'd
RPG
be
Clinic.
Really
Boop,
cool.
boop, 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 boop.
And knowing Kate setting up a stream about how to set up the tech of a
Hang on,
stream.
Now I'm confused.
Oh my god.
There's
'Cause
not
you were gonna
enough
set up,
stream
like,
space.
Like monitor capture.
I know,
and,
but
all
like
that,
that
shit.
would be 2 monitors crammed into one window with like just not enough space. But
Nah.
yes, let's talk stream tech.
It's very exciting. shit.
How to stream on RPG. Brought to you in part by RPG Clinic and viewers like you.
Oh, thanks. Thanks,
And
Boop.
sub gifters like Mukajutsu.
Was that the GIF?
No, the sound effect is different.
It's not that.
No.
Oh, it's so cute. Oh, it's gone.
Oh.
Sorry, you missed it.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so that's Thursday. Friday, we have punches. 6
Oh!
o'clock.
We're actually gonna finish the main quest.
Well, we keep saying that.
I
We're
know,
going to try
but
to finish
no,
the
we're
main
like
quest.
right there. We gotta be right there.
Oh, no.
And then are you doing the DLC after that?
Oh, yes. That's
We
the
haven't
whole
played
reason why we started this. Because we've never played the
6
DLC.
months later, we're like, oh, we're almost at the DLC. Crawling
Hooray.
towards the finish line.
Yeah, like I was like, oh, I should tune in. Then it was like, and now we have to go beat the boss. I was like, nope.
That's right.
You're like, there's a boss?
I mean, yes, I assume. Or no, you're like, we're going back into town. I'm like, I don't know what town this is. I don't want to know what town this
yeah,
is.
exactly.
No.
Oh.
What I love is that by the time you're finished, the PS5 will come out.
And the new game will be out too, right? Well,
No,
maybe
the new
not,
game
but
is going to come out like a year later.
after that, eh?
Still.
No. Our PS4 is still running great.
Saturday is the Drew Crew.
That's right.
That is being moved from Wednesday. You already said
3
that.
p.m.
right?
Yep,
Brooke-
yep, 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 yep.
So then Sunday.
Mystery of the Velvet Mask or whatever.
Sunday's
I could be
here.
there.
Sunday's here. It'll be Star Wars. It won't be Star Wars Episode 1. It'll be Star Wars Reach Episode 1. Folks, I'd really recommend trying it out. See if you can get other people to tune in. You know, it's a new campaign. This is the session 0, which is great. But if you really want to get in on the ground floor, be there next week. That's the cool moment.
Yeah.
No, it's true. I see some of those new faces out there in chat. It's really cool. And if you have people who you think would, enjoy or maybe enjoy checking out a stream, this is the right time, as John was saying. Not episode 120 of. Anyway, that's a whole.
We're
other
doing
kettle
that
of fish,
again.
yeah.
So special thanks, obviously, go to She Who Knows 10,000 Things and Entropy's Disciple. That's the Crosshair and Aragorn reverse. And one more round of applause. Once our tech is up and running, we're going to be super happy with the graphics that we've received from our graphic designer for our avatar and our logo and our emotes, for Aragorn and Treydog for the overlay graphics that we've got, for Kate for the programming of our new stream beep boops, and we'll make sure that we can get that tested
Yeah.
now that we also know how we can potentially test. It's going to be great.
Yes, it will. Chase, check out the reruns link there on the YouTube channel.
Little
Your-
blooper in the YouTube channel command. If you could just make a note of that.
Ooh,
Honor
honor.
just needs a
Honor.
space. That's
Honor!
my honor.
And fix.
Yes, so if you missed it, yeah, please check out the YouTube channel.
Don't forget, Kate's a stage manager, so she's actually writing all this shit down.
Je prends les notes.
So this campaign,
Okay.
apparently this campaign will go, I don't forget where I'm from, I just know where I'm headed.
Nice.
Mm,
That's Crest Exultant, yeah. And he's a captain,
yes.
right?
Much
Or
like we have a ship.
I embezzled $4 million.
Ah!
What?
Recompose.
God
What?
damn. Totally not at all out of context. That's great.
Your game is correct, and just because someone does something differently doesn't mean that they are not correct. I don't know who gave me the title The Wise, but they were Flick the Crystals. Calling it these
Gross.
days.
Dear God.
That was
We've
while
had a
I
lot
was
of
playing
fun on it.
League
Yeah.
3 years ago.
We've had a lot of fun on this channel. And we're gonna have more.
Well, we've had some fun on this channel. This channel's kind of only been around for like a
oh,
month.
right, of course. Well, we've had a lot of fun so far.
Yeah.
There'll be more.
We have 120 followers on this channel.
Hey.
Did we ever do a 100 followers dance?
No, but I just want to shout out that people should follow our YouTube so that we can have a proper URL, please and thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you haven't already, please do that. Thank
100 followers
Followers.
dance. 100 followers dance. 100 followers dance. 100 followers dance. Thank you so
you.
much.
That's our improvised 100 followers dance.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
Clearly
Foul Monkey, for
Thank
you.
punctuating that followers dance.
Woohoo!
Hey!
Fell monkey.
I was dancing in my heart.
It's good, John.
It's like screaming in your heart on a roller coaster in
Yep.
Japan.
Sure is.
I'm screaming in my heart right now.
I mean, I look forward to seeing what's going to happen with the Redshift runner and
Yeah.
those who inhabit it.
Those who are necessarily.
But we'll look forward to that. In the meantime, we can go up and we can also go to the right. All those things.
That way.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Bye.
Now, is this going to work?
See you next